Everyone always accepts money. But there are few indeed who accept the responsibility of spending it. Quite naturally, I am one of these.
The National Broadcasting Company presents Mr. Charles Boyer in The Adventures of Marcel.
I don't understand. When do you find time to write, Mr. Ramsey? You're everywhere.
Oh, a writer can only write part of the time, my dear. It is of as great importance to find material.
Is that why you're taking me to dinner?
No. No, I'm taking you to dinner because I find you tremendously attractive. I do want you to...
Oh, monsieur. Pardon.
What is it, waiter?
Monsieur Ramsey?
Yes?
You're wanted at the telephone, sir.
Well, bring me a phone.
I'm sorry, but the table service has been discontinued.
When, for heaven's sakes? I was here for lunch.
At tea, sir. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm deeply apologetic, my dear. I'll be right back.
Mademoiselle, get out of here.
What do you mean by that?
Get out, quickly. This man is old enough to be your father. It sickens me to see you with him.
Are you presumptuous idiot? I'll have you discharged of all the...
Mademoiselle.
What is it?
There is no phone call.
What?
I am from the police. We're about to make an arrest. Do you wish to be involved?
No, of course I don't.
Well, then go, please. At once.
All right. I'll go. Thank you.
Come, don't stand there looking into space. People are waiting for service.
What? Are you speaking to me?
Oh, I thought... I beg your pardon, monsieur.
Is my table ready?
Of course, monsieur. You had a reservation?
Naturally. For Monsieur le Baron, Marcel de Frontenac.
This way, Monsieur le Baron.
That is Marcel. I wish I could tell you how you would meet him and when, but I am no clairvoyant. I can't imagine ever seeing him any place where there is not the flash of a white shoulder or the glint of some yellow gold. But even this is not a certainty. So, that is Marcel. The Baron, indeed. But then maybe he is, who knows? Only Marcel, I guess, or his alter ego, Mr. Charles Boyer. There he sits, ordering luxuriously as only a gourmet can, a Parisian dinner, which I firmly believe will never be paid for by Marcel.
Oh, garçon.
Oui, monsieur?
Garçon, would you convey my compliments to the gentleman walking to his table now, and ask him if he would care to dine with the Baron de Frontenac?
Oui, monsieur, at once.
This is very kind of you, sir, but I...
Oh, sit down, Mr. Ramsey.
You're the waiter, that phone call.
Yes, I am. I ruined your entire evening, I know. I want to make amends for that.
But what is this? Why? How do you know me? What business is it of yours?
Now, one thing at a time, Mr. Ramsey. I know you because you are quite a well-known writer. It is no business of mine whatsoever. But if you're going to be fleeced, I should like to see it happen with a bit of subtlety. I'm sensitive about these things.
Please? Do you think I'm a child?
In Paris, my dear sir, age, strength, even wisdom are poor weapons against a Molineux gown and the God-given elements to fill it.
I've never heard of such impertinence, such nerve. I think you're an adventurer, Baron, or whatever you call yourself, and I'm going to have you run in.
As you will, Mr. Ramsey, but why not look squarely at the facts? Here you were, a brilliant writer, attractive, looking forward to an enchanting evening of Parisian romance. Well, had this been in the cards for you, I would have stretched out my hands in a true benediction. But I did not fancy readings in my morning newspaper of the American writer found beaten up and possibly stabbed on the banks of the Seine.
Why, you're kidding, aren't you?
I'm not kidding, Mr. Ramsey. Now, will you have some wine?
Yes, I will.
Just call me Marcel.
I still don't understand your...
Interference?
Well, let's call it concern.
Mr. Ramsey, your dinner clothes are beautifully cut. Your star sapphires are real, and Dun & Bradstreet are most complimentary about you. And as for me, I can pay my way with you, Mr. Ramsey.
Well, that's a switch.
After all, material to a writer is his lifeblood. He wastes half his life gathering the thoughts that he must transmit into words. I will save just half your life.
At a price?
At a price.
How do I know I can use anything you might tell me?
You don't. I've thought of that. I'll tell you a story tonight. If you can use it, you will pay me $200. Dollars, please. And for each story thereafter, $100 additional.
And if I don't like your story?
Well, then I shall be delighted to be your guest for this excellent dinner.
All right, you win. I can't afford not to listen.
Good. One might call this story The Adventure of the Queen of Sheba, but do not think that it is about her. No, it happened on a beautiful transatlantic liner named after her. I was standing on a Parisian street, looking rather wistfully at pictures in the window of luxurious life at sea, knowing that I had no money for passage, when the faintest scent of an exotic perfume seemed to settle about me. As I turned my head to see where it had come from...
Would you mind if I pass, please?
Oh, but of course, I beg your pardon. I'm afraid I was very rude. I was staring.
You were. You are. May I pass?
Certainly.
May I help you, mademoiselle?
I've come for my tickets. Now your helm's off.
Let me see. Helmdorf. Oh, yes, here we are. Cabin 402, A deck. The Queen of Sheba sails at midnight. I hope you have a very pleasant crossing.
Thank you.
Yes, sir?
Who is the manager here?
I am.
My name is Lupa. I'm a private detective. I've been reading of the activities of card sharps and professional gamblers on your line.
Oh, yes, we are most concerned about it.
Well, I've been promising myself a vacation for years, and the thought occurred to me that I might combine that with a little work.
In what way?
It would cost you a considerable amount of money to hire additional detectives to protect your passengers. I'm not interested in money. If you care to guarantee my round-trip passage, I would be glad to offer my professional services to the line free of charge.
That seems reasonable. We might want to take advantage of your offer. Where can I get in touch with you?
Oh, I'm afraid this proposition only holds good for the sailing of the Queen of Sheba tonight. It's my only opportunity to get away.
Well, I may not be able to move that fast, monsieur.
I'll be here tonight with my luggage. If you are interested, have a cabin ready for me. Oh, preferably A deck. Good day, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
You see, I'm still staring.
Yes, you are, aren't you? You're a very persistent man.
Have you any idea how persistent? Do you know that at this time yesterday I had no idea of being aboard this ship?
Really?
Do you know that I'm a very busy man with a very full schedule and no time at all to be on the ocean?
Are you accusing me of having something to do with this?
Well, of course I am. What right have you to walk casually into my life and then walk past, leaving a trail of that intoxicating perfume?
You're not serious.
Serious? You have ruined my life. All day, all week, all month. Appointments are being cancelled in Paris, Rome, Berlin. No one knows where I am. No one can find me. And you want to know if I'm serious? What time shall we have luncheon?
No, but I don't believe it.
Don't go on. Are you married?
No.
Are you alone?
Yes.
What time shall we have luncheon? I'm sure you'll want a little rest. We've been walking miles.
I feel wonderful. I love the wind in my face.
It's put roses in your cheeks and stars in your eyes. You know you're very lovely.
Oh, I think I'll rest a little.
I'll be in the bar at 8.
Yes.
Will you be there?
Yes, I'll be there.
I want to be with you every moment.
You give me no single second to think. There are a great many things you don't know about me.
Well, you know nothing at all about me. Do you care?
No.
Neither do I. Shall we dance? time to say goodnight, Nadja.
I know. It's so beautiful. I hate to leave it.
Another day tomorrow, even more beautiful, because we'll know each other better.
Thank you, Marcel. It's been heaven.
May I, my dear?
Imagine me asking.
Good night.
Good night.
Hello, Nadja.
Hello, Foster.
Well, this is the last lap, Miss Helmdorf. You know that, don't you?
Yes, I know.
Been a nice world cruise for me, though, even if it has been expensive for New York State.
And you still think I did it?
Oh, now, look, honey, I'm paid for being a detective. Nobody ever asked me to defend him in a law court. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a judge. I'm not a jury. I just get paid to follow people, find them, and bring them back alive. I don't know if you did it or not.
I wonder if I could ask you to do me a favor.
You could ask me.
I'll give it to you straight. I've fallen in love, head over heels. Didn't want to, but there it is. Now, this trip lasts 5 days. One's gone already. Will you keep your mouth shut for the other 4?
I'm not doing any talking.
I didn't mean that. Will you stay away from me on my promise that I won't try to pull anything and let me have all the happiness I can get for the rest of this trip?
I don't care what you do as long as I can see you.
I just don't want to feel that you're snooping around. Will you do this for me, Foster?
You know, baby, a detective's pay isn't really enough for what he goes through. I'll see you in the morning. But, remember, I'll still be looking. Maybe only out of the corner of my eye. Good night.
Marcel.
Who is he, Nadja?
Oh, Marcel, you heard.
Well, why didn't you tell me about him?
I couldn't tell you about it. I wanted some happiness, that's all. But it's too late. I'm sorry, Marcel, but I'm not for you. Oh, leave me, please. I can't stand anymore.
Very well. Good night, my dear.
What were you doing in there, chum?
That comes under the heading of my business.
I'm making it mine. That little dame is under my protection.
Protection is not the word I would have used.
No cracks, mister. If I were you, I'd stay away from this part of the bateau and the dame.
When a lady tells me to leave her, I always leave. I take no orders from anyone else.
You're taking them from me, or else.
Or else what?
I'm under orders, mister. I'm taking this girl in. If anybody tries to stop me, my orders say shoot to kill. I don't mind doing it.
You mean this girl is under arrest?
This is news to you?
On what charge?
Not illegal parking, chum. It's murder.
You see, Mr. Ramsey? It was murder.
Go on. Go on, man.
Oh, it's my throat. You suppose another bottle of wine?
And now, the second act of The Adventures of Marcel, starring Mr. Charles Boyer.
You always stop talking at such a maddening point.
I had to stop.
Why?
I told you my throat was dry.
You find that good wine refreshes your memory?
Invariably and delightfully.
I'm curious to know why you followed this girl at all.
Mr. Ramsey, when I turned my head outside that steamship office in Paris, I looked into a pair of green eyes that were hypnotic. I don't think I breathed again until she passed. And when she did, I really saw her for the first time. Tall, exquisitely formed, with a rare beauty that only red hair and green eyes can give a woman. She was irresistible. And as I followed her, it was with strange sensation that she somehow, somewhere had been part of my life before. Think of my horror to learn that this girl, this vision of beauty, was a murderess. It was no business of mine, of course, but I knew I couldn't stay out of it. And I knew Foster did not like me a bit better than I liked him. I went to bed that night with a strange sense of foreboding. and I was just falling off to sleep when a knife hissed across the room and buried itself in the wall 4 inches over my heart. Operator. Operator.
Yes, sir?
Get me the captain, quickly.
I cannot disturb the captain until 6 a.m., sir.
This is an emergency. Call him at once.
Yes, sir. Just a moment.
What the devil is this?
This is Lopa, Captain.
What do you want?
Well, there is a very handsome hunting knife still quivering in the wall of my cabin, just over my bed. Interested?
Stay right where you are. I'll be right down.
Let me see that knife.
I think you'd better search my luggage instead.
Why?
Well, when I came aboard, I had nothing on my person or in my bags that anyone would want to kill me for.
Does anyone else know I've been called?
No, only the operator.
Open your suitcase.
I'll open it.
It's all very neat. It doesn't look as if... what's this?
Yes? Oh, just an old brush case. I've had it... Now, wait a minute.
What is it?
Well, that's been in the bathroom ever since we sailed. Open it, Captain.
Right.
Well.
It's very pretty. Beautiful pearls indeed. Are they real?
Well, if they're not, do you think they're worth throwing a knife at my head?
Are you sure you've never seen that knife before?
You mean, is it my knife? Did I stick it into the wall? No, Captain. No.
Well, at any rate, I shall have to ask that you remain in your cabin. And you might as well know that I will have a man guarding it. Good night.
Oh, before you go, Captain, would you do something for me?
What is it?
One of your passengers is a detective by the name of James Foster. Would you cable and check his authenticity?
Why?
Well, I'd feel lonely if I were the only one under suspicion.
Good morning, Marcel.
Well, good morning, my dear. It's nice of you to call. You know, I think I'd better warn you. Did you see a man outside this cabin as you came in?
Yes, one of the crew.
Guarding me. I'm virtually under arrest.
But why? What have you done?
Well, sometimes one doesn't have to do anything to be under arrest.
Oh, yes, I know.
Do you?
Oh, stop fencing, Marcel. I heard Foster stop you outside my door last night. You know all about me now, don't you?
Well, I know what Foster told me.
And?
And I don't believe it.
Thank you, Marcel. But I don't understand about you.
A man, a passenger, was almost killed last night, apparently for a pearl necklace, which he was smuggling. At least they tell me it was found rather cleverly hidden in his luggage.
Marcel,
Yes?
my time is short. You can help me.
How?
Tell me how you got my pearls.
Your pearls?
Mine.
But what makes them important enough for murder?
They're worth $150,000. That's a lot of money, which I need.
Enough to kill for it?
I'd be killed without it. Does that answer your question?
Come in. Oh, Captain, has the governor given me a reprieve? Or are you taking orders for the prisoner's last supper?
May I see you alone?
Of course. I was just leaving, Captain. It's the most comfortable trip.
Lucky weather, ma'am.
Later, Marcel.
Later. Captain, have your guard follow her. Don't let her out of your sight.
But I don't understand.
No, not now. Just tell him.
Follow that girl. Don't leave until I talk to you.
Aye, sir. Thank you. Well, now, Captain?
Well, you were right. Foster was detached from service while he was in Cairo. They let him say he resigned. It seems he lost a lot of money gambling.
Never mind the reasons, Captain. He's not a detective under orders. Is that right?
No, as far as I can see, he's just a man out of a job.
Well, I suspect that this is an enchanting plot of cheating cheaters. Motive, $150,000 worth of pearls.
Which were found in your possession.
Only because of the plot. One of them decided that $75,000 was not enough.
What do you mean, one of them? You sound as if they were two.
Yes, one planted the pearls on me. And I think that before many hours go by, the more charming of our cheaters will accuse the other of attempted murder.
But you had the pearls.
And you don't know whose they were, do you, Captain?
Of course not.
Will it convince you at all if shortly after the accusation someone claims them?
Why, that's ridiculous. If those pearls belonged to anyone on board, you'd hear them screaming for miles.
Let's wait, Captain. Let's wait, shall we? I'll come with you to your quarters, if I may.
Yes, madam?
May I come in? I'm sorry to intrude on your privacy, Captain, but it's quite important.
Why, of course.
I'm Nadja Helmdorf. Something very serious has happened.
If I can help, ma'am, I shall be very happy.
I have a confession to make. I had planned to bring some things into the United States without paying duty. I imagine this happens a great deal.
I'm afraid so.
I've been robbed of some very valuable jewels.
Oh? What were they?
Pearls. A necklace.
What is the approximate value of the necklace?
Oh, between $150,000 and $200,000.
Why, this is serious, Miss Helmdorf. Have you, suspected that anyone on board might have paid too
Captain.
much attention?
I know you're far too busy to notice, but I've been escorted on this trip by a detective named Foster. I'm going to America to face a grave charge. This is, I know, none of your concern, but there is something else. I don't suppose I should say this.
Go on, Miss Helmdorf.
Well, I began to get suspicious of Foster before we sailed. He acted peculiarly like a man afraid, like a desperate man.
So?
So nothing happened until last night. And just as he said goodnight to me, he leapt at me and I caught the glint of metal in his hand. It looked just like a knife, Captain. I'm sure he meant to stab me. I just barely managed to slam my door shut in time.
Miss Helmdorf, you realize that you're making a direct accusation?
I'm only accusing him of the attack, Captain. I don't know if he took the pearls or not.
Very well. We will do everything possible to help you recover your property, and for your own protection, I will assign a guard to you for the rest of the voyage.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. All right, Marcel. Come on out of the closet.
Sold, Captain?
Sold. Oh, it's a cold proposition, isn't she?
Cold as ice. Money makes some people that way. Oh, by the way, speaking of money, there must be some reward for information leading to the arrest of smugglers.
She hasn't smuggled yet, and she won't unless she gets her pearls back. But I think the customs people will be probably grateful to you.
Oh, not to me, Captain. To us.
I'm out. It's part of my job.
Oh, it makes me very sad. I came aboard flushed with the fine enthusiasm of adventure, of romance. I have no adventure, no romance, nothing but sordid dollars as my reward. No, Captain, it's not worthwhile. It's not as rich as the days of Cloak and Dagger.
You don't have to accept the reward.
Oh, no, this would be folly. One always accepts money. But there are few indeed who accept the responsibility of spending it. I'm one of these, Captain. Of course I'll accept it.
I thought maybe you might.
Now, you know we're counting our chickens too soon, Captain. Now, first I must close the case. Shall we have our meeting?
All right.
I'm ready to go back in the closet. You know, I'm getting quite fond of it.
Mr. Foster, I've called you because your charge, Miss Helmdorf, has reported the theft of some very valuable jewels.
Theft? Weren't you double-crossing...
One moment, Mr. Foster. You will notice a .45 lying on my desk pointing at you. May I continue?
Go ahead.
Miss Helmdorf tells me that last night you practically made an attempt on her life. I think it is in her mind that you might have stolen her pearls in the scuffle.
Can I talk now?
Yes.
Would you mind turning that heater the other way?
Very well.
Now, did she tell you she was going to smuggle them in?
Why, yes, she did.
She did, huh? Well, now, isn't that sweet? So you got religion, huh, baby? A new kind of unity. All for one and none for two.
Go on, Foster.
All right, Captain. I'll sing you a song. This dame and I had a deal. We get the necklace through customs, and after the fence was through with it, we split two ways.
Watch it, Foster.
Everything
Remember
is
me.
working great. And Sister here gets greedy and decides there isn't enough for two. She steals her own necklace and tries to plant a guilt frame around my neck.
Foster!
Everybody gets the news that I'm taking her in for murder. Her? One murder? Why, she's got more murders than Babe Ruth hit home runs. Why, hey, watch that knife! Nadja, don't!
Oh.
Too late for a knife, Nadja. Bullets are still faster. Well, I hated to hurt this beautiful hand, but it'll be all right in a few days.
Good shot, Marcel. You were a good pigeon. Only you fly a little low. Too bad we didn't quite make it. We'd have been so pretty together.
You know, I never recognized you, Nadja. Not once. Not until the exact moment I squeezed the trigger.
Recognized her? Why, did you know her before?
Yes, with black hair in Cairo. Big life-size pictures in front of the theater. Nadia, the most beautiful knife thrower in the world.
Wow, a knife thrower. Who'll believe that one?
Do you?
Well, yeah, I think I do. At least it was worth $200 to hear you tell it. Here you are.
Thank you. Oh, there's lipstick on this $50 bill. Did you notice?
I didn't.
Well, I always notice lipstick because this recalls to me an adventure I once had with a theatrical makeup man. Oh, most intriguing.
Oh, I'm not too interested in backstage.
No, I didn't finish. He became one of the greatest living novelists.
Novelist?
Yes, yet he never wrote a line in his life. Will you be here next week at this time, Mr. Ramsey?
Charles Boyer will next be seen starring in Douglas Sirk's production, The First Legion. Our cast included Lorene Tuttle, Eileen Prince, Raymond Burr, Stacey Harris, Peter Leeds, Rolf Sedan, and Donald Morrison. The Adventures of Marcel was written and directed by Nat Wolfe and was a presentation of the NBC Hollywood Program Department. Frank Barton speaking.
Presenting Charles Boyer.
Vous qui passez sans me voir.
Hello, my dear. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir, Michel. La da da dee dee dee. La da da la da dee.
The National Broadcasting Company takes pleasure in introducing a new series starring Mr. Charles Boyer as Michel.
Oh, waiter. Waiter, one moment, please.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, the young lady at the corner table, the one with the soft white shoulders, the gray-blue eyes.
Oh, yes.
I am very nearsighted. Does the gentleman with her happen to be my brother, Prince de Vignac?
Oh, no, sir. He's an American writer, Mr. Bart Conway.
Oh, a writer. Oh, how very interesting. I hope he always pays his bills.
Oh, always, sir. Plenty of money.
Very interesting. Thank you.
No,
Thank you very much.
When do you find time to write, Mr. Conway? I see you every place.
Well, the writer can only write part of the day, my dear. You must also look for story material.
Oh, and is that why you're taking me to dinner?
No. You're here because I find you tremendously attractive.
Oh.
I do want
I beg
you
your
to know...
pardon, Monsieur Conway.
What is it, waiter?
You're wanted at the telephone, sir.
Well, bring me a phone.
I'm sorry, but the table service has been discontinued.
Oh, no. I was here for lunch.
At tea, sir. No more table service.
Excuse me, my dear. I'll be right back.
Mademoiselle, get out of here.
How dare you? What do you mean?
Anyway, this man is old enough to be your father. It sickens me to see you with him.
Oh, why, Olga, I'll have you discharged.
Now, one moment.
Yes?
You cannot disturb the maître d'hôtel when he is preparing a Caesar salad. And besides, there was no phone call.
No phone call?
No, mademoiselle. I am from the police. We're about to make an arrest. Do you wish to be involved?
Oh, no, of course I don't.
Well, then, please, do as I tell you. Go. At once.
Oh, all right, I'll go. Thank you.
Come, don't stand there looking at the women guests. People are waiting for service.
Are you addressing me?
Oh, I thought... I beg your pardon, monsieur.
I'm looking for Mr. Bart Conway, the writer.
Yes. This is his table right here.
Oh, thank you. Would you tell him that Baron Michel de Montrichard de Frontenac has arrived?
Certainly, monsieur le baron.
Certainly.
That is Michel. I wish I could tell you how you would meet him and when, but I am no clairvoyant. I can't imagine ever seeing him any place where there's not the flash of a white shoulder or the glint of some yellow gold. But even this is not a certainty. So that's Michel, the Baron indeed. But then maybe he is. Who knows? Only Michel, I guess, or his alter ego, Mr. Charles Boyer. There he sits, a soldier of fortune in his uniform of white tie and tails, ordering luxuriously as only a gourmet can a Parisian dinner, which I firmly believe will never be paid for by Michel.
I beg your pardon, but this table is taken.
Oh, sit down, Mr. Conway.
You're the waiter.
I was. I've spoiled your entire evening, I know. You must let me make amends for that.
Well, where's the young lady?
Oh, I sent her away.
Sent her away? But what is this? Why? How do you know me? And what business is it of yours?
Now, one thing at a time, Mr. Conway. I know you because you're quite a well-known writer. It is no business of mine whatsoever. But if you're going to be fleeced, I should like to see it happen with a bit of subtlety. I'm sensitive about these things.
Fleeced? Do you think I'm a child?
Oh, in Paris, my dear sir, age, strength, even wisdom are poor weapons against a Molineux gown and the God-given elements to fill it.
I've never heard such impertinence, such nerve. I think you're an adventurer, Baron, or whatever you call yourself. And I'm going to have you run in.
As you will, Mr. Conway, but why not look squarely at the facts? Here you were, a brilliant writer, attractive, looking forward to an enchanting evening of Parisian romance. Now, mind you, had this been in the cards for you, believe me, I would have stretched out my hands in a true benediction. But I did not care to read in my morning paper of my favorite American author found beaten up in an alley or floating in the Seine.
Oh, nonsense. She was...
Yes, she was very pretty, but very dangerous for you, believe me. But your glass is empty. Permit me.
Well, all right. What did you say your name was, Baron?
Just call me Michel. There. To our most fortunate meeting and a long friendship.
I ought to call a policeman.
Well, then you would be the loser, my friend. You see, I intend to make up for spoiling your evening of romance.
Oh, you do?
After all, story material to a writer is his lifeblood. You waste half your life seeking ideas. Well, I propose to save exactly half your life.
At a price?
I leave that to you, my friend. Look, I will tell you a story tonight. If you can use it, well, I may accept $200. Dollars, please.
And if I don't like your story?
Well, then I shall be delighted to be your guest for this excellent dinner.
Oh, well, you win. I can't afford not to listen.
Why is it, Mr. Conway, that so many adventures begin in the rain?
Was it raining?
Horrible rain. English rain.
England?
Upper Hitching near Manchester. At a railway station. The station was very dreary, and I was very wet. I was also cold, hungry, and quite without funds.
Broke.
But my life was not without beauty. In my hands, Mr. Conway, I held a bouquet of roses.
A nice touch.
Now, I do not particularly like the word touch, Mr. Conway.
Oh, sorry.
Now, I ask you, what was I doing at Upper Hitching with a bouquet of roses?
What?
An appointment with destiny. But destiny had not arrived. It was an affair of the heart. I had left my beloved Paris to meet a lady, and the lady
stood you up.
Well, let us say merely that the flowers would go unpresented. Instead, I was to discover a garden of paradise. A garden in which I was to play what? The apple or the serpent? I pulled my coat collar around my neck. I shook the rain from my shoes, and I said to myself, Eva, mes enfants, quel chien climat. Then a hand touched my shoulder.
Beg pardon, sir. I'm from Mr. Smith.
Huh? Oh, well, I'm glad to hear it, my friend. I hope he's drier than I am.
You're the French gentleman from Paris?
Well, I am French,
And from Paris?
Mr. Smith has sent the car for you, sir.
Oh, well, that is most kind of him.
He's waiting for you at the Manor House, sir.
Manor House?
Oh, it's very historic, sir. We'll make your stay very comfortable.
Oh, well, yes. You and Mr. Smith might try. But please tell me, how did you happen to recognize me?
Why, by the bouquet of roses, sir.
By the... Oh, I see. Oh, it is historic indeed. Battlements, turrets. Oh, is that Mr. Smith's suit of armor?
No, sir. May I take your things, sir?
Oh, thank you. My hat, my coat, and my roses.
Mr. Smith will be down presently, sir. But Miss Alice is waiting for you in the drawing room.
Oh, she is? Tell me, is she pretty?
If I may be permitted a private opinion, very lovely, sir.
So, in that case, give me those roses. They were not for you.
Oh, hello. You're here at last.
Mademoiselle?
I was afraid Thomas might not spot you. I'm so glad he did. You see, Father couldn't give him any description of you since we'd never seen you.
He did very well. Mademoiselle, will you accept these flowers as a token of my admiration?
Roses. Oh, thank you, Monsieur le Baron. Most of my friends wouldn't have been so thoughtful.
Oh, they might not have dared. But when I saw you sitting there like a princess out of the Arabian Nights, I did dare.
Oh, I met a princess once at a charity bazaar. She was terribly matter-of-fact and businesslike.
Oh, I'm talking of the princess in the fairy tale. They're the only real ones.
I wonder why I'm not laughing at you. Compliments like that usually get laughed at nowadays.
We of Provence pay tribute to beauty straight out of the heart. It is true. It is sincere. And what comes from the heart is never to be laughed at.
Now, I've always heard a Frenchman makes love to every woman he meets.
Not every woman. Only if she's pretty.
I'd almost forgotten a man could be so amusing. Michel.
Silly, happy. Isn't that wonderful? I walk into this room and life begins to sing again. I even forget your dreadful climate. So, if I make love to you, you have only yourself to blame. You mind?
Let me warn you, I've never been swept off my feet.
Oh, you poor girl. What a tragedy.
May I have my hand back, please? Thank you. Do all art connoisseurs behave this way?
Am I an art connoisseur?
Well, to hear Father and Jules Dancourt tell it, you're one of the best in the world.
Well, they are most generous.
Would you like to see the painting?
The painting? Do you think I'm a man who wants to look at pictures, things of paint and canvas, when before me sits reality?
You're the maddest man I ever met.
I cannot help myself. Do you object to the things I've said?
No, but you mustn't say them.
There you are. Oh, Alice, I see you've made our guest comfortable.
Monsieur le Baron, this is my father.
How do you do, sir?
Delighted to have you with us. Delighted.
And I, Mr. Smith, I'm in your debt.
Oh, for what?
Well, for having such a lovely daughter and such a beautiful house.
A very old house. Came down in the family. But they forgot to send down funds for the upkeep. How about a good cigar?
Well,
Best Havana, first-rate smoke.
Oh, thank you.
Alice, light the Berrin cigar.
And scotch with water.
What's that?
Well, you put your daughter to work, so I put you to work. Scotch with water.
Oh, yes, of course.
Here's the light.
Now, Miss Alice. Such lovely hands must not tremble.
Please?
Yes, here we are. Scotch and water.
Scotch. The marriage of the sun and the grain.
I like a man who likes the stuff. Just about perfect, if I do say so myself.
And I shall drink a toast to the patron saint of unfortunate travelers who is taking such splendid care of me.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll run along. I know you two are eager to talk about the painting.
Yes, clear out.
What an odd way to talk to your daughter.
Oh, sorry. Nervy, I expect. I adore the ground she walks on. I'm doing it all for her sake. Well, let's get down to it. Baron. That's a good one.
Is it?
Imagine you a baron.
The truth requires no imagination.
Oh, now, there's no need to put it on with me.
Well, sir, in that case, there's nothing for me to do but bid you good night.
Oh, Jules d'Ancourt told me you were a caution. What an air. A gentleman if I ever saw one. I take it d'Ancourt explained the whole thing to you.
The whole thing? Well, no, well, that is, vaguely.
Vaguely. We'll go into the study. You must see the painting.
Oh, by all means. I've become most curious about this painting.
You should be. In here. D'Ancourt said you're the only man for this job.
Well, how very kind of him.
You're sure you can carry it off, playing the wealthy French art collector?
Mr. Smith, a person of my sort never finds it difficult pretending to be something that he is not.
Ah, good. You come highly recommended. Ah, there we are. Over the fireplace. Oh, let me light it properly. There.
Oh, a Corot. His early period. Magnificent.
Painting to be proud of, isn't it?
If I owned it, I should not be proud. I should be humble.
Well, then be humble. You do own it.
I do? Well, thank you.
For purposes of the transaction.
Yes, of course, the transaction.
Ah. Would you question its authenticity?
Why, not for a moment.
Picked it up in London for £8.
What?
Work of a young art forger I know.
Astounding.
Fake, pure fake. And it's yours.
You're most generous.
Our client will be here shortly for dinner. He has plenty, and he can afford it.
He? Who?
Young Harry Ralston, Lord Ralston's boy.
Oh, the Ralston money.
He wants this Corot, but it belongs to you. Now, we've talked price. I told him you might accept £3,000. Try him at 3, but I know he'll settle for 2,000.
And do I understand we are partners?
No,
Mr. Smith?
No, not at all. You'll be paid a fair commission. But as far as young Harry is concerned, you see, you're my old chum from France. Ruined nobleman with an historic chateau, family treasures, and all that.
That's very ingenious. Tell me, you've done this before?
Well, only when the treasury gets low. Now, for your end, I think £400 is fair.
Well, 500 is a round figure.
None of your tricks, not a halfpenny over 450.
Well, in that case, what time does the next train leave for London?
Oh, very well, 500.
Thank you. You may refill my glass.
Huh? Oh, yes, your glass. You have the gall of a prince.
Wait until you get to know a baron better.
Beg pardon, sir.
Oh, yes, Rogers.
Another gentleman has arrived.
Oh, it's Harry Ralston. Show him in.
But it isn't Mr. Ralston, sir.
Well, then who the devil is it?
A French gentleman, sir, with a bouquet of roses.
Mr. Smith, what does it mean? Why do you leave me standing in the rain at the station of Upper Hitching?
What did you say?
Why do you leave me standing in the rain at the station of Upper Hitching?
Oh, that's what you said. Who are you?
Achille Dupont. I shall report this treatment to Jules d'Ancourt.
Dupont? Well, then who are you?
Permit me. Baron Michel du Mont-Richard de Frontenac.
An impostor.
Oh, no, Mr. Smith. Your old pal. The ruined nobleman with a historic chateau, our treasures and all that. Remember? Oh, you drop your glass. Pour yourself another drink. It's on me. Oh, Rogers.
Yes, sir?
Do not have the champagne too cold for dinner. And for the roast, I would suggest a good Burgundy. Pommard or Chambertin 1937 will do.
Very good, sir.
Well, I'll be.
Oh, please, be careful, Mr. Smith. I do not like so much broken glass on the floor.
Well, go on. Go on with your story.
I'm sorry. I can't imagine what it is, my dear Mr. Conway. My throat.
Dry, I imagine.
Very. I think possibly another bottle of wine would do it.
In a moment, we'll return to Charles Boyer. But first, here's a message for the parents of every child who will reach school age before 1957. It concerns the education of that child, an education that in years past could be taken for granted. During the next 7 years, it won't be quite that simple because America's schools are going to be submitted to an enormous strain. Because of the increased birth rate during and since the war, millions of additional youngsters are going to be starting their education. Your interest and assistance can bring them the classrooms and equipment and books they'll need. You can help out by contacting the local civic groups and school boards, which are trying to ready educational facilities for the expected influx. And you can gain additional information by writing to the National Commission of Public Schools, New York, New York. That's the National Citizens Commission for Public Schools, New York, New York. Protect the future of your children and of your community by preparing for that future. Make certain of their education. Better schools make better communities. Good citizens everywhere are helping. NBC is presenting Charles Boyer. As Michel sits at his ease in a smart Parisian restaurant over a fresh bottle of champagne, he is anticipating that his new friend, Bart Conway, will pick up the substantial check.
Ah, my dear Conway, an excellent dinner. Oh, the pheasant is superb.
I'm glad you're enjoying it, Michel. I shall deduct its price if I buy your story.
Oh, now, the dinner I should have mentioned is always part of the price for my story.
Well, get on with it, man. Get on with it.
Well, consider my predicament. Just because I was holding a bouquet of roses at a railway station, I was taken for someone else and escorted to the home of Mr. Smith. I must say I found the daughter most attractive. I couldn't say as much for her father, but 3,000 pounds were involved, and I am a man of business. Such a situation requires the greatest delicacy and savoir-faire.
Thick Baron, just who the devil are you?
You forget all your friends so quickly.
I am authentic. The roses identify me. I am the Baron.
But, Monsieur Dupont, too late to assist in fleecing the son of Lord Ralston.
If Harry Ralston wants to buy a forged Corot, that's his business.
And the business of the French Sûreté.
What?
Allow me to identify myself. Inspector Michel de Frontenac.
The police.
Oh, good heavens, no.
Oh, I have nothing to do with it. I am but a poor Frenchman, a visitor.
What does the French Sûreté have to do with this? Tell me that.
Mr. Smith, if you do not lower your voice, I shall be obliged to call on Scotland Yard immediately.
Oh, no, no.
Oh, hold on now. Don't misunderstand
I
me.
shall call on the English police if you force me to.
We shall not force you, monsieur.
I've spent months tracing this pony Corot. It is a crime against the art of France. I must say, I regret the consequences this affair shall have on your daughter.
Alice. Oh, Monsieur le Baron, Inspector, don't destroy her chance for happiness.
Well, there is my duty. What would you have me do?
Take the Corot and go. Burn it, but leave us in peace.
Unfortunately, it is not so simple. I must consider the case and all that it involves. Now, tell me, young Harry Ralston is coming to dinner?
Yes, he's expected any moment.
Yes. Well, go to your rooms and remain there. I shall think, and we shall dine together as if nothing had happened.
You're staying for dinner?
Naturally. You heard me arrange for the wine, didn't you? Alice.
Oh, Michel, you startled me.
Oh, forgive me. But you should not be alone to look at the moon. All through dinner, as I watched you across the candles, I fought myself to keep from getting up and going to your side.
I'm glad you won your battle.
You're glad?
Father would have been furious.
Who cares?
Where are the others?
Oh, still with their port and cigars. Such a strange custom when they could be with you.
Michel, you mustn't talk to me this way.
I cannot help myself. Do you think when I got up this morning I was miserable, lonely? Then I saw you, I heard your lovely voice, and I've lost my head and my heart. I can think of nothing, of no one else but you.
It's a good thing Harry isn't listening.
Harry?
Harry Ralston. He sat across from you.
Well, and if you were listening?
I'm afraid he'd object. You see, I'm going to marry him.
You are? Why?
Well, I happen to be terribly fond of him. We grew up together.
Why didn't you tell me this before?
Now, be honest, Michel. You never gave me the chance.
Then you were amusing yourself.
That isn't true. Weren't you trying to sweep me off my feet?
Just the same, you should have warned me. Given me some hint.
Alice!
Yes, Harry?
Oh, you're in here. Oh, I hope I'm not interrupting.
Harry, of course not.
I was wondering, Baron, if we might talk about your painting now.
Well, I suppose so. The Corot has been in my family for many years. And now to part with it, I must say it's hard. Very hard.
Please, Baron, I don't want to embarrass you in any way.
Oh, no, don't misunderstand me. I have so many paintings. My house in Paris, the chateau in Provence.
Well, then, could I see the painting, please?
Well, if you will, just look over your left shoulder.
Why, it's right here. Oh, it's a beauty. Do you like it, Alice?
I love it. But I can't imagine the Baron parting with such a treasure.
Now, please, Miss Smith, do not let imagination stand in our way.
Beg pardon, sir. Mr. Smith would like to speak with you in the drawing room, sir.
I would. Well, Miss Alice, Mr. Alston, will you excuse me? You wanted to see me?
Oh, yes, Inspector. I've been thinking.
I said I would do that for you.
I'd like to see your papers from the French Sûreté.
Well, this is a most unusual attitude for a man who faces prison.
Where are your papers?
Papers?
Papers.
I don't have any.
I knew it.
It took you a long time to discover I was not a policeman.
I've never met a policeman who was also an expert on vintage wine.
I must remember that in the future. Stupid slip.
I'll thank you to get out of this house.
No, my dear friend, be sensible. You wish me to sell the painting to young Ralston. You need me to sell it for you, since he and Alice know me as the Baron. So you see, in short, we're partners again.
That's dash decent of you.
But I shall require my £500 commission.
Oh, I have no choice, eh?
Payable in advance.
Oh, go get out.
Very well. Ring for your butler to fetch my things.
No, wait. I'll give you 100.
Good night, Mr. Smith. I shall take my painting with me.
What? Now, hold on.
Well, you gave it to me.
I have never met the likes of you.
Money, please.
Oh, very well. Sure.
Thank you. 3, 4, 5, correct.
But remember your end of the bargain. Now, you give me Ralston's check, and don't set the price too high. Start at 3,000.
Shall we go in?
Baron, I've made up my mind. I want this Corot.
Oh, I'm sure the Baron's agreeable.
Well, what is your price, sir?
Oh, must we discuss money?
Yes, we jolly well must.
Well, Mr. Smith, you know my terms. I prefer to have you discuss the matter with Mr. Ralston.
Very glad to. Excellent suggestion. Come sit at the desk, Harry.
Now, I want to be very fair about it.
Oh, I'll see to that, my boy.
You're very kind to do this, Michel.
Well, I must say he's a nice boy. He almost deserves his good fortune. Alice, I hope you will always be very happy.
Thank you,
I
Michel.
think a fair price, my
May I
boy,
have your
would
hand,
be,
please?
I say there, what's going on? Kissing my fiance's hand?
Gentlemen, I have a little announcement to make. I've fallen desperately in love with Miss Alice.
My dear sir.
Now, look here, Baron.
But I do not wish to take her away from you, Harry. My love was brief, hopeless, this I know. But it will warm me to my dying hour.
Well, now, that's very touching, yes. Well, come along, gentlemen. Let's get down to business.
Yes, Baron. Will you set a price?
Very well. Now, let me see. I'm extremely ignorant of such matters, but, well, considering the present state of the pound sterling, the pound-franc exchange, current French taxes, English monetary restrictions, and, of course, the sublime beauty of the Corot, well, shall we say 5,000 pounds?
What?
5,000? Oh, I'm afraid that's a little steep.
Yes, I think so, too. Baron, couldn't you say 3,000 pounds?
Impossible. But, Harry, knowledge is also money. And the knowledge that this painting shall hang in your home when you and Alice are married, that to me is worth, at least 8,000 pounds. So I shall accept 4,000.
No, now, stop.
Please, Father.
I'm afraid not, Baron. I can't go beyond 3,000.
And we do so want the painting.
Would it make you really happy?
Well, 3,000 pounds would make all of us dashed well happy.
In that case, I've changed my mind. I do not wish to sell.
Not sell? What the devil do you mean?
For those who know the value of true beauty, the Corot is beyond price. So, Harry, Alice, I give it to you as a wedding present.
You what?
You're much too generous, sir.
Not at all.
He can dash well afford to be.
Oh, thank you, Michel. We shall always treasure it.
Always.
By Jove.
You're an amazing man.
Well, I'm Mr. Smith. That's me. Well, I'm Mr. Conway. That's me.
So they took the picture?
Oh, of course. It hangs today in Ralston Hall. You know, I stayed with Mr. Smith for 6 weeks. He had an excellent chef, and I was best man at the wedding.
Oh, no. Well, you came away with 500 pounds in your pocket.
On the contrary, only 1 pound. Well, the rest went for flowers and tips. You know, I had my position to keep up.
Oh. Well, I suppose you've earned your $200.
Oh.
Here you are.
Thank you very much.
Oh, wait a second. You said you were standing on the station at Upper Hitching with a bouquet of roses in your hand. What was it for?
Oh, the bouquet. Oh, yes, of course. Another bottle of champagne, please. That, my dear Conway, is quite another story. And another $200.
You have just heard the first in a new series starring Mr. Charles Boyer. The role of Bart Conway was played by
Hanley Stafford.
Also in the cast were Viola Vaughn, Alma Lawton, Joseph Kearns, Donald Morrison, John Stevenson, Fritz Feld, and Alec Harford. Our show was produced and directed by Nat Wolfe from an adaptation of the original story written by William J. Locke. The characters of Michelle and Bart Conway were created by Ernest Boyda and Clement Scott Gilbert. Now, here again is Mr. Charles Boyer, or, that is, Michelle.
Thank you, monsieur. One always accepts money, but there are few who accept the responsibility of spending it. Well, quite naturally, I am one of these. However, if I were a wise man, I would, of course, invest it in United States saving bonds. Why don't you? Good night.
Doug Gourlay speaking. Stay tuned for the thrilling Big Town on NBC.
Presenting Charles Boyer.
Qui passait sans me voir.
Hello, my dear. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir, Michel. La da da dee 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 dee
The National Broadcasting Company takes pleasure in presenting a new series starring Charles Boyer as Michel.
Bartender. Napoleon brandy, please.
Napoleon brandy, right away, sir.
Michelle! I'd recognize that voice anywhere.
Bart Conway. How nice to find you in Biarritz. Ah, this is my lucky day. Do you happen to have a spare $200 with you?
Oh, you haven't changed a bit, Michelle. Well, what is it this time? A story about a South American gold mine or some lovely duchess in distress?
Well, not everybody can be a famous writer like you, Mr. Conway. But then not everybody has such a friend as Michel to provide them with successful plots, right?
But $200? That's rather steep, Michel, even for one of your plots.
This one is worth $500. On second thought, it's not for sale. Anyway, I don't need the money. Look.
25 francs. Is that all you have?
Napoleon brandy, sir.
Here you are.
Oh, thank you, Your Excellency.
Michel, why did you let him take your last franc?
Well, I didn't want him to think you had a pauper for a friend.
I'm sure you didn't. Well, bottoms up. Michel, I'll bet this is the first time you've ever paid for your own drink.
Oh, my dear sir, it is of small importance to me who pays for what.
Would $10 help you out, old man?
But a loan? Mr. Conway, It is entirely against my principles to borrow money from a friend.
Well, forget that I even mentioned it.
But you've no idea what a fascinating woman this Mademoiselle Goldilocks was.
Goldilocks? Oh, that really wasn't her name.
And the Brooklyn Dodger. That should be the title for my story. Mademoiselle Goldilocks and the Brooklyn Dodger. Do you like it?
It's, well, haven't you got your metaphors mixed?
You know, I'm glad I didn't sell it to you. It will be the most exciting chapter in my memoirs. It started on a quiet evening in Paris not so long ago.
But, Michel, I haven't promised to buy your story.
I was in the sitting room of my ground floor apartment. I had turned off the lights, and I was enjoying my last cigarette when suddenly the French doors to the garden burst open, and a ravishing young woman I had never seen before entered. How could I tell she was so beautiful? Well, the full moon is always a generous spotlight.
Desk. I do not wish to be disturbed. No calls, please, until morning. Thank you. Good night.
Imagine that, Mr. Conway. A strange woman, a beautiful woman, in my bed. I could hear her crying herself to sleep, and I wondered why such a lovely person should be unhappy. Perhaps I should have questioned her then and there, but I've always had a tender feeling for Goldilocks. Let her sleep. Maybe her dreams would be happier. Well, I surmised that the lady must have mistaken my apartment for her own, so I went out into the garden, and I noticed that the suite on one side of mine was lighted. This must be hers. The garden door was unlocked. I entered, and immediately I was certain it was hers. Chanel number 5. Then, as I was debating whether I should appropriate her bed as she had mine, I heard someone coming in the way I had. I stepped quickly out of sight.
Anybody home? Huh?
Bonsoir, monsieur.
Oh, I'm sorry, wrong room.
Is it?
Well, yeah. Ain't it?
You were looking for Mademoiselle Goldilocks?
Goldilocks? You kidding?
She's sleeping in my bed.
Well, sure, mister. I get it. And you are the Papa Bear.
A thankless part. What would you do in my case?
I'd scram.
Oh, but monsieur, you have forgotten the story. It was Goldilocks who ran away.
Yeah, and I would stop playing games, especially when every cop in Paris is looking for you.
They are?
Well, don't you know that you got a price on your head?
Well, I value my head slightly, but I didn't think anyone else was interested.
Now, what kind of double talk is that? Hey, look, I'm no stool pigeon. I just want to know one thing. Where is it?
Well, we were speaking of a lady, monsieur.
You know what I'm talking about. You snatched it.
Oh, I snatched it. Well, you say that with such conviction, my friend.
Yeah, well, maybe this will convince you.
Oh, no, monsieur, please, believe me. If you should shoot me with that gun you're handling so carelessly, that would be unfortunate for both of us.
Now, hand it over, mister. Tell me where you got it stashed. Quick, I will give you just...
All right. Sorry, mister. You see, Mr. Conway, I really was sorry. The stranger had a nice face. But who did he think I was? And what was he looking for? Well, I had a whole night in which to find out. It was light when I returned to my own room. I was just in time, for as I arrived, Goldilocks herself emerged from my bedroom.
Oh.
Good morning, mademoiselle.
Good morning.
I trust you slept well?
I don't know what to say. As soon as I woke up, I realized I was in the wrong room.
Could happen to anyone.
I'm living in the next suite.
Yes, I know.
I should have put on the light last night, but I was exhausted, and I just walked in and went to bed.
I know. I was here.
Oh. Well, why didn't you say something?
When I was a boy, I swore I would defend the rights of Goldilocks to the end. To the end of her sleep, that is.
Well, what happened to her when she woke up?
Oh, she ran and ran until she was home. And never again did she wander off into the woods alone.
And then the story ends?
I always felt cheated, didn't you?
Cheated?
I always wanted to know what her family thought and what happened to her afterwards. If she got married, how many children she had.
She didn't get married.
Really? What happened?
She met the wrong man. It broke her heart.
I don't believe it.
You wanted to know.
Well, shall I order breakfast, mademoiselle?
No, you've been kind enough already, Mr.
My name is Michel.
Just Michel?
Michel.
Oh. Well, I must go. My apologies, and thank you again.
Oh, just a moment, mademoiselle.
Yes?
Don't be surprised if you find someone sleeping in your bed.
How do you know that, and who is it?
Well, from his accent, I would say he's from somewhere in the vicinity of New York City. A celebrated place called Brooklyn.
But I don't know anybody from Brooklyn. And how do you know he's in my bed?
I put him there.
You put him there? I don't understand.
Then perhaps we should go back and start from the time that you came into my room.
But you see, that was a mistake.
Then I went into your room, and perhaps that was a mistake, too.
It's awfully complicated, isn't it?
Mademoiselle, so early in the morning, without coffee, anything is complicated. Excuse me. Yes? Oh. Whom did you say? No, unfortunately not. No. No, I'm sorry. Of course, I understand. That's quite all right. Goodbye. Mademoiselle, are you Lorraine Morrison?
Yes.
That was the prefect of police. He's been trying to get in touch with you for some kind of information. Do you wish to talk to him, or would you rather talk to me?
Why didn't you tell the police I was here?
You didn't want me to, did you?
They want to know about a friend of mine. That is, a former friend of mine.
Yes?
I once knew a man by the name of Edward Marcel. The police are looking for him, but honestly, Michelle, I don't know where Edward is. I haven't seen him for months. I never want to see him again.
But why are the police so interested in him?
Well, they think he has stolen something.
Oh, what?
I don't know. I only know I'm afraid to talk to him.
Mademoiselle, you cried yourself to sleep last night. I couldn't help hearing.
I haven't told you the whole truth. I did see Edward, by accident. He threatened me. If the police should talk to me and they should find him, he would make that threat good.
Do you know where he is now?
No, and I don't want to.
Well, I think we can expect a visit from the police in any case. So, as much as I regret to suggest it, you should leave quickly.
Why are you doing this for me?
You're beautiful, and you cried yourself to sleep. Well, I won't ask you where you're going, mademoiselle, but you know where I am.
Yes. I know where you are. I've caused you a lot of trouble, Michelle.
I have already been fully compensated. Hey, wake up. Wake up, monsieur.
Go away, will you? Leave me alone.
Now, please, the police may come at any moment.
Oh, who cares about the cops? Oh, it's you. Oh, by Jove.
Well, you brought that on yourself, my friend. You jumped to conclusions too quickly. You thought I was a man named Edouard Morceau, didn't you? But you made a mistake. My name is Michel.
Yeah, it is. Well, if I remember correct, last night you were a Papa Bear. Now, what does that make me? Sleeping Beauty?
Now, look, if I were the man you thought I was, why would I come back to see you?
Yeah, you got a point there. Now, just what'd you say about the cops?
They'll be coming here, looking for the same thing you were. Lauren Morrison.
I don't even know the dame.
Or looking for a beetle.
A beetle? Me looking for a bug?
Yes, a very famous one. A ruby beetle, bearing an inscription from the Book of the Dead. It is known as the Taya Scarab.
Hey, how'd you get in on this deal?
An accident, my friend. A beautiful accident. And now, may I ask you the same question, monsieur? Monsieur?
Jimmy. The name is Jimmy Cook.
What is your interest in the scarab?
Dough. What else?
Money?
Well, it's supposed to be worth a couple of $100,000. Now, that ain't potato pancakes.
Well, I'm not too familiar with the present market value of potato pancakes, but, well, I know it's worth in centuries.
30 centuries. The great Egyptian pharaoh gave it to his queen 3,000 years ago. It's not personal property to buy and sell. It belongs to the museum in Alexandria.
Now, that's too fancy for me. All I know is that there's a reward out for that hunk of jewelry, and I want it.
Huh? What do you say? A reward?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. But tell me, isn't this a pretty large undertaking for an amateur?
What amateur? I got connections, kid, you know what I mean? I know every fence in the big leagues.
Do you think any fence would buy something as famous and recognizable as this?
Well, I ain't particular. All I want is that lettuce.
That what? Oh, yes. Yes, of course. Well, the reward for the return of this stone would be quite substantial.
Yeah? How much, for instance?
I don't know, but enough to make it worthwhile.
Yeah? Hey, look, mister, I got a hunch about you. You are after the ruby, and so am I, eh? Well, there's no percentage in us cutthroating each other, so I got a proposition. Now, why don't we join up, huh? Split 50-50?
Now, look, we can discuss the division of spoils later.
Nah, 50-50. I invested a lot of time already. Want to shake on it, Mickey?
All right, Jimmy. Shake. And that, Mr. Conway, is how the gentleman from Brooklyn and I became partners.
Go on, monsieur.
If you don't mind, I'd like another Napoleon brandy.
Oh.
My throat is dry.
Bartender, a Napoleon brandy. Make it 2. The tire scarab is a fabulous ruby, Michel. I've heard of it. It's practically priceless.
Well, then, perhaps you know its history, Mr. Conway. Everyone who has ever possessed it has been destroyed by it. That's what suddenly made it so complicated. Because, you see, I had it.
You had it? But how did you get it?
What an exquisite brandy.
Michel, how did you get it?
Oh, I was curious. I found it in Lauren Morrison's room. But you're not drinking your brandy, Mr. Conway.
Go on, Michel. Don't tantalize me any longer.
Well, within much less than 24 hours, I had not only met Mademoiselle Goldilocks and the Brooklyn Dodger, but I had unexpectedly come into the possession of a precious scarab. But what about the man called Edouard Morceau? What did he have to do with this? What I didn't know was that Morceau was also curious about Lorraine.
Yes? Edward, it is Henry.
Moment.
I have found Lorraine.
So I see. Shut the door.
Edward.
Sit down, my dear.
I picked her up at Versailles.
So, Lorraine, you knew my instructions. You were to stay at the hotel. It's the safest place. Why did you leave?
I had to, Edward. The police were on their way.
How did you know that?
Quite by accident. There was a man at the hotel. The police called him and asked for me.
Rather complicated, Lorraine. Who is this man?
His name is Michel.
Michel? Michel who?
Just Michel. Edward, if it hadn't been
How
for
did you
him...
meet him?
It sounds silly, but you see, I was tired and I went into the wrong suite and Well, it was his apartment. That's how I met him.
And you think it was an accident that he was there?
Well, how could he know that I was going to make a mistake?
What did you tell him?
Nothing. Edward, why should I tell a stranger anything?
Lorraine, what did you do with the scarab? What did you do with the scarab?
Edward, you must believe
What
me.
did you do with the tire scarab?
It's gone.
Gone. Oh, you stupid fool. It was this Michel.
Edward, I didn't tell him. I didn't.
I will find out if you did, Lorraine, because, my dear, you are going to bring this Michel to me.
You see, Mitchell, this is the way I figure it. This Lorraine was Morceau's dame, and Morceau was holed up, and she is playing a patsy.
Jimmy, in a rough translation, that would mean that...
It would mean that the cops and you and even me, we are all chasing the dame, and that leaves Morceau in the clear, you know what I mean?
In other words, you think we should forget the dame?
Well, she took a part, didn't she? You scared her off.
She just invited me to dinner.
She what?
She phoned me and asked me to dinner.
Well, are you going?
Certainly.
Now, I don't want to get personal, but do you still think that she's got the ruby?
Of course not. I have it.
What?
Here it is.
Well, holy smoke, will you look at the size of that rock.
Magnificent, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's all marked up.
Hieroglyphics, Jimmy. A message from a pharaoh to his queen.
No kidding. Can you read that stuff?
Oh, it's a very famous message. Happy is the man who has a heart
that cannot break.
It says all that, huh?
Imagine, Jimmy, a man who believed that he could put the fullness of his heart into this red stone and keep his love immortal. That he could bury this in a tomb and conquer death with it. That neither wind nor sand nor thieves in the night could touch this field of eternity.
No wonder it's worth so much dough. And you had it all the time.
No.
And, well, how do you like that?
Only recently I acquired it. Thanks to you.
To me?
You were looking for something, so I continued to search until I found it.
But the dame?
She invited me to dinner.
Well, she knows you got the ruby.
Yes. And she knows how to get to Marceau.
Well, what do you want to monkey around with him for now that you got the rock?
Since I have, I don't imagine I'll have any choice but to meet the fellow. And after all, why shouldn't I have dinner with Mademoiselle Goldilocks?
With a couple of $100,000 loose in your pocket?
Oh, the ruby. Well, would you prefer that I left it with you, Jimmy?
With me? Well, yeah, sure. Yeah, we said that we were partners, didn't we?
That's right, partners.
Yeah, well, okay then. That's all I wanted to know. Yeah. Here, let me have it. It'll be a load off your mind tonight.
I was sure you would dance beautifully, Lorraine. Yes, keep your eyes closed like that.
Why?
So I can tell how Goldilocks looks when she's asleep.
How does she look, Michelle?
Not asleep, but wonderful.
I begged for the compliment.
Not at all. You never have to beg. Just keep on dancing. Forever.
One little nightcap, that's all, Michelle.
An exclamation point to a perfect evening, Lorraine. Oh, excuse me a moment. Jimmy? Jimmy? Huh? Nobody home?
Were you expecting company?
Company? Oh, no, not just my roommate.
Oh, he's rather untidy, isn't he? Does he usually throw his cigarettes on the floor like that?
Cigarettes? Oh, no. Oh, must have been in a hurry. Well, what would you like to drink, Lorraine?
Michelle,
Yes?
is it just a coincidence that you have the apartment next to mine?
Well, I always stay here when I'm in Paris, but if I didn't and I found out you were here, I've made arrangements.
Why?
You know the answer.
Well, I'm not sure. What is the answer?
This.
Oh, Michelle. I wish you really meant that kiss.
But I did.
Goldilocks should never have awakened. Only she could have kept on dreaming. Michelle, please give it to me.
I beg your
You
pardon.
know what I mean, the scarab. You found it in my room.
Oh, yes, the chandelier. Not a very original hiding place, my dear.
Give it to me.
Now, Lorraine, wouldn't shooting me complicate matters a little?
I can't. I can't do it.
I didn't think you could. Here. Now, give me the gun. That's better. I had your ruby scarab, but I haven't got it now.
Who has it?
I believe Marceau.
Marceau.
Lorraine, you told me you were afraid of him.
Yes.
And that your only chance was to get back the scarab.
Yes.
Well, you haven't got the scarab, so take me to Marceau.
But that's just what he wanted me to do. You'll be walking right into his trap.
Evidently, Lorraine, he didn't altogether trust you. He sent someone else here to spring another trap tonight. Got a friend of mine. Now you've got to take me to Marceau. I followed Lorraine down Pereire Boulevard, through which runs the railway. When we came to our destination, an isolated stone house, she stopped and insisted that she enter first to forestall any ambush that might have been set up for me. As she silently disappeared into the dark cavern of the entrance, I wondered about the risks we take every day when we assume that such and such a person is a particular kind of person. How many times are we wrong? And yet, how could we live a single hour without some faith in our fellow man and woman? But suddenly my reflection was interrupted violently.
Mitchell. Hey, you awake yet?
Oh, hello. Hello, Jimmy.
Oh, good. Gee, I couldn't tell whether he was alive or dead.
Well, I wasn't sure myself until this moment. Are you tied up, too?
Yeah, like a ten-inning ball game. I'm a smart guy, ain't I? I was going to do you a favor, eh? Now, look at us. I don't know whether you noticed it yet, but this cellar smells like a morgue.
I should have guessed they would be checking up at my apartment.
How'd they get you?
That's my fault, too. I hope.
What do you mean, you hope?
Well, I put my trust in someone, but I do not... Shh. Maybe now we'll find out.
Gentlemen, my apologies. If I'd expected guests, I might have arranged for more comfortable accommodations.
Monsieur Marceau?
You are Michel.
I'm obliged to you, Lorraine, for introducing me to Monsieur Marceau.
You were so anxious, Michel. I couldn't disappoint you.
We might have met under happier circumstances.
Well, these should be very happy for you.
I have the tire scarab. That makes me happy.
Even though it has brought only misfortune and tragedy to all its possessors?
So?
But I don't suppose you are interested in its history.
Only from now on.
Of course.
Which brings me to a painful subject. This history must be a secret. It naturally couldn't remain a secret if you and your American accomplice...
Then the tire scarab has now condemned us to destruction, is that it?
Just say it was your curiosity.
No, not my curiosity, Marceau. Rather, my belief in a woman. My dear Lorraine, do you remember the inscription on the scarab? It reads, "Happy is the man who has a heart that cannot break." It was a futile wish. The woman's heart became a stone, like... Shut up! Well, also, the lady has such lovely hands.
Come, Edward. I will not listen to any more of such drivel.
Very well, my dear. Until later, gentlemen. Until later.
Hey, Mitch, that's a pretty slick chick you picked out for yourself.
With women, Jimmy, I always follow my intuition.
Well, it sure told you wrong this time. The minute your hands are tight, she slaps you in the face. With me, it's vice versa.
No, just a minute, Jimmy. Here, I've got it open.
What's that?
What does it look like? A knife.
Yeah, I know, but where'd you get it?
Wait. I think I can cut it. There. Now my feet. There. You're next, Jimmy.
All right, good. What'd you do? Did you palm the knife when they chased you?
No. I had faith in the mademoiselle, but I didn't know she knew the magic trick of misdirection.
Did I miss something?
That's just the point, Jimmy. Everyone watched her as she slapped my face with her right hand, so nobody saw her slip the knife in my pocket with her left.
Oh, she did, eh? Hey, can I have some of your intuition, Mickey? Well, what are we going to...
No. Wait, Jimmy. Now, not a move until they reach for us.
Oh, we're going to play it that way, eh? Well, okay, this is right up my alley. Did I ever tell you about the time of the Golden Gloves when I...
Henry, you take the American.
Yes, Edward.
Gentlemen, it's late. Under other conditions, Michel, we would have understood each other perfectly. But as I said, it is too late.
All right, Jimmy.
You were right, Michel. You knew that Marceau had set a trap for you, so you sprang it on him.
Well, with your help, Mademoiselle Lorraine.
Yeah, I'm glad you came over to our side, lady.
Oh, Lorraine, this is Jimmy Cook.
The man who slept in my bed?
Yeah, well, excuse me. And thanks for that, too.
And now that you have the ruby, are you turning it over to the police, Michel?
Over his partner's dead body.
No, not the police. There are other ways.
Yeah, you mean you think that we can sell it now? Do you got a prospect in mind?
Yes, Jimmy. A mummy.
What?
This ruby heart belongs to a dead queen, many thousand years old. Well, I would gladly exchange it for the heart of a beautiful living woman.
Michel.
Price, a substantial reward.
Yeah, but you still don't know how much, huh?
No, but enough, I'm sure, to repay all of us for our trouble.
Well, I was asking for 50-50, but the lady here deserves a cut, so I'll let you divvy it up your way, Mitchell.
No, 50% still goes to you, Jimmy. With my portion, Mademoiselle and I will celebrate. Lorraine, are you free for dinner tonight? Well, that's all, Mr. Conway. A story about a scarab that I found in a chandelier.
I don't know why I should pay you the full amount, Michel, though. You haven't finished yet.
Yes. Oh, well, I returned the scarab to the museum.
Well, I'm not interested in the scarab. The woman, Michel. What happened to her?
It's a pity I was unable to keep my appointment with Mademoiselle Goldilocks that evening. But you see, despite the fact that I have an unblemished reputation, the authorities at the museum questioned my possession of the ruby. So, I spent several nights in protective custody.
An unexpected reward, eh? How did you get out?
Oh, with the help of the most exciting redhead. But, Mr. Conway, that's another story. And another $200.
Charles Boyer will soon be seen starring in Douglas Sirk's production, The First Legion. In the role of Bart Conway, you heard Hanley Stafford. Also in the cast were Lorene Tuttle, Sheldon Leonard, Lou Merrill, Stanley Waxman, and Viola Vaughn. Our show was produced and directed by Nat Wolf. Tonight's script was written by Barbara and Milton Merlin. Characters of Michel and Bart Conway were created by Ernest Badia and Clement Scott Gilbert. Listen again next week at this same time to Presenting Charles Boyer. Don Stanley speaking. Stay tuned for the thrilling Big Town on NBC.
Presenting Charles Boyer.
Qui passe sans nous voir. La da da dee.
Hello, my dear. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir, Michel. La da da dee dee dee. La da dee dee
The National Broadcasting Company takes pleasure in presenting a new series starring Charles Boyer as Michel.
Oh, waiter,
Monsieur?
will you take my order, please?
Yes, monsieur.
I'm not very hungry tonight. I'd like something light. Let me see. To begin, consommé with caviar, then lobster cardinal, then a double lamb chop with mushroom sauce, that's all. Oh, with the fish, a light Alsatian wine. 1937 was a good year.
It was an excellent year.
Well, what are you standing there for? Bring me my supper.
No, monsieur.
No?
The management has advised the entire staff not to serve you without payment in advance.
But am I to understand that the Duc de Consigny does not enjoy the credit of this establishment?
As for the Duc de Consigny, I cannot say.
I am the Duc de Consigny.
But last week, when you did not pay your check, you were the Baron de Montflechard.
Well, my friend, I tell you, my mind is imaginative. Unfortunately, my stomach is not such a dreamer. You see before you a starving man. You can save my life with a teaspoon of caviar.
The answer is no.
Even red caviar?
Not so much as a crouton without payment in advance, including the tip.
Waiter, come back.
Yes, Monsieur Conway?
You will bring the Duc de Consigny his supper.
Well.
Exactly as he ordered it. Put it on my account.
Yes, Monsieur Conway, immediately.
You mind if I join you, Michel?
Well, under the circumstances, how could I refuse? But then, why should I want to?
Oh, I need your help, Michel. I must send a story back to the States tomorrow, and I don't have an idea in my head.
Ah, so you want me to sing for my supper?
In a manner of speaking. The usual arrangement.
Yes. Well, we are both authors, Mr. Conway. You compose your stories on a typewriter. I live mine. When your story is done, you have a sheaf of pages, which you can sell for a fortune to a magazine. When my story is done, I have only memories. And if I'm lucky, a teaspoon of caviar.
And, of course, $200, which I pay you for every story.
Of course. Tell me, Mr. Conway, have you ever gambled at Monte Carlo?
Oh, naturally.
Well, then perhaps you will enjoy my adventure with a slide rule blonde.
That is Michel, adventurer, bon vivant, connoisseur of words, wine, and women. Our Michel is a familiar sight on the boulevards of Paris, and the rumor is that he was born wearing a top hat, white tie, and tail. Michel, in the person of Mr. Charles Boyer, is perhaps the most fascinating barnacle ever to fasten on the ship of Parisian society. There he sits, in the Tour d'Argent, impeccable and impecunious, telling a story to his author friend, Bart Conway.
The Adventure of the Slide Rule Blonde.
Can't you see that caption on your story?
But by a slide rule, you mean...
A slide rule. And by blonde, I mean a blonde.
One of those little gadgets that mathematicians use to multiply?
Well, I've never heard of a blonde described in quite that light.
I mean the slide rule.
Oh, yes. The slide rule is a thin, white ruler, perhaps 10 inches long, with figures all over it.
Ah.
You can solve all kinds of problems if you know how to use a slide rule, which I do not.
But, Michel, what has this to do with a blonde?
That, my friend, is the story. Shall I continue?
Please do.
Well, you've been to Monte Carlo. Then you know that the gambling casino sits atop a cliff overlooking the Mediterranean. It was a mild summer night, very much as it is tonight. And my billfold was without funds, very much as it is tonight. Ah, what a sad feeling it is, my friend, to wander among the roulette tables, to see millions of francs changing hands on a turn of the wheel, and to feel not a cent in the pocket with which to tempt the affections of Dame Fortune. In this rather despondent mood, I struck up a conversation with my old friend Wolfgang, the manager of the casino.
Gentlemen, place your bet.
Well, good evening, Wolfgang.
Oh, good evening, Michel. How is your luck tonight?
I have no way of knowing.
Broke?
Shattered.
Then do an old friend a favor. If you're planning to kill yourself, kindly go across the border to do it. Suicides give my casino such a bad name.
No, you should know me better than that. I might end my life over something important, such as a woman. But to dash myself off your cliff because of mere bankruptcy? Never.
A sensible attitude.
Tell me, I don't suppose I could prevail upon you to loan me
No, Michel. You would only gamble it away on my roulette wheels, and you would lose.
Perhaps not.
Always the gambler loses. You may have a winning streak now and then. The chips may be stacked high before you, but the next spin of the wheel will go against you. Your pile of chips will dwindle, and finally, the banker takes everything.
You never gamble?
Only on a sure thing, and roulette is a sure thing for the banker.
But doesn't all this money sometimes depress you?
Money never depresses me, especially when it is coming my way.
But think of all the income tax you have to pay.
A citizen in Monte Carlo pays no taxes.
What?
Our little country is smaller than a square mile, and the tourists spend enough here to pay our whole cost of government. So, no taxes.
Well, I pay no taxes.
Why? I did not know you were a fellow countryman.
I'm not, but I have a system for avoiding income taxes.
What is it?
I have no income.
Ingenious.
Will you excuse me, Wolfgang? I want to stroll about and observe the play.
Nonsense. You want to stroll about and observe that attractive blonde who just came in the casino.
Now, Wolfgang, you're altogether too ancient to notice such things. I beg your pardon. Marguerite?
My name isn't Marguerite.
Oh, forgive me. I thought you were an old friend of mine from Paris.
I'm an American.
Ah, delightful country, America. Are you alone?
Yes.
Oh, how sad. There are two nationalities which should never be alone, Americans and Frenchmen.
Are you French?
How did you guess? Permit me to introduce myself. My name is Michel.
Oh, how do you do? Say, do they know you here? I mean, is the manager a friend of yours?
Naturally.
Well, then, would you stay very close to me and pretend that you're my escort?
I shall be honored.
They won't be so likely to throw me out if they think you're with me.
Why should they want to throw you out?
Oh, they'll want to murder me after what I'm going to do to them.
I don't understand.
You will, Mike, you will. Now, let's see. First of all, we have to find a croupier with a nice, kind face.
Ladies and gentlemen, place your bets.
Ooh, they all have faces like old hot water bottles. Ah, there's one. Across the casino, the man with the Airedale eyes. He'll be friendly.
But why must he be friendly?
Well, so he won't be angry when I take all his chips away from him.
What? Oh, I see. Mademoiselle, I don't wish to be inquisitive, but have you ever played roulette before?
No.
Well, I hope you have plenty of money.
Have I got plenty of money? Oh, croupier, I want some chips, please.
How many, mademoiselle?
$5,000 worth.
My dear young lady, you must be worth millions.
Oh, this is all the money I have in the world.
What?
I borrowed this on my insurance policy.
Oh, then I cannot allow you to gamble it away. $100, yes. Even 200, but 5,000.
Ah, now don't you worry your cute little head.
Here you are,
about it.
mademoiselle. 1,666,666 francs.
67. The exchange went up 200 to the mill this morning.
Oh, very well. 67.
Yeah. Okay, now what's the limit, Sam?
Huh? Oh, 5,000 francs on any single number.
Okay, I'll put 5,000 francs on number 13.
No, mademoiselle, please. I don't even know your name, but I cannot stand by and allow you to bet so recklessly.
Ah, now don't fret, Junior. I got a system.
Every fool who comes to Monte Carlo has a system, or thinks he has. But they all fail. They always lose their shirts.
Well, I don't wear a shirt. Here, hold this book.
What is it?
My table.
Your table?
Of probabilities. I have to keep both hands free to work my slide rule.
Well, I don't understand.
The winning number is 13, black and odd.
You won.
Well, of course I won.
180,000 francs. On a single turn of the wheel. Oh, you must stop. Now, come on. Take your winnings and leave.
Don't be a still. Why, Mike, we haven't even started
Ladies
yet.
and gentlemen, place your bets.
Now, just hold it a minute, Sam. Now, just a minute. I got to do some fast figuring here. Turn to page 197.
Oh, this is ridiculous.
13 squared times n to the 13th power of the cube root of 13, divided by the probability factor.
Well, what do you think you're doing?
Well, I'm getting the next winning number on my slide rule. It's 31. Quick, 5,000 francs on number 31.
The winning number is 31, black and odd.
Oh, did you see what that girl did? She had the limit on 2 winners in a row.
Made over a third of a
Oh,
million
I
francs.
never saw anything.
Oh, it's nothing.
What incredible luck.
Well, I like that. Luck has absolutely nothing to do with it. This is pure science.
It's absurd.
Well, I'll do it again.
Ladies and gentlemen, place your
I
bets.
gotta figure this fast. N times 13 plus 31 cubed over the square root of the product to the 18th power. It'll be 9. 9's gonna be the winner this time.
All right, well, place your bet.
Ooh, I almost forgot about that part. 5,000 francs on number 9.
Well, what is it? What is the number?
The number is 9, red and odd.
Holy smoke.
Well, what is everybody so excited about? I told you it'd be a 9.
Michel, would you come here a moment, please?
Of course, Wolfgang. Excuse me, mademoiselle.
Yeah, sure. Let's see now. 13 times 31 times 13.
Michel, get her away from the wheel.
But why? Why, my friend? You told me yourself the banker always wins.
This girl does something with the slide rule that the bank doesn't know about.
Well, she's perfectly honest.
No doubt, but in an hour I shall be perfectly bankrupt.
Well, what is it worth to you, Wolfgang, if I take her away from the table?
5,000 francs?
Sorry, I cannot hear a word you're saying.
10,000.
15. The reception is getting clearer.
Again, another winner.
9 times in a row, she picked the winning number.
Hey, Mike, go get a wheelbarrow, will you? I gotta haul away some of this money.
I'll be right over.
Well, hurry.
Wolfgang, shall we say 50,000?
Yes, 50,000, but get her away from the roulette table.
really shouldn't. But you know, it tastes so good. Better than what I usually drink.
What do you usually drink?
Soda pop.
But the south of France is very famous for its soda pop. Have some more.
Well, if you insist.
There we are.
Say, why were you so anxious for me to stop playing roulette?
Oh, well, you seem to be getting tired.
Oh, I was just getting warmed up. Come on, let's go back.
Wait, one moment.
Huh?
Please. Is it possible for you to sit here in the starlight, looking out across the ageless Mediterranean, and not be moved by the beauty of this scene?
Well, I gotta admit, it's pretty pretty.
The Romans called it Mare Nostrum, our sea. Well, we can pretend that we are Romans tonight, and that the breakers rolling against the sand belong to our sea.
Why, Mike, you're a regular Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
You realize I don't even know your name? What is it?
Yes.
Miss...
No.
Oh, not Mrs.?
Nope.
Well, there must be something that my mother did not tell me.
I'm a doctor.
Doctor?
Dr. Plunkett Claudine. BSMA PhD.
These are your initials?
These are my degrees. I'm professor of higher mathematics at Norwood College.
Oh, well, I'm glad to know you, Dr. Plunkett.
There you see. Now, that's what happens with every man I meet.
What happens?
As soon as they find out I'm a doctor, they freeze up. I'm too smart. No guy can have a good time with a girl who knows that A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C.
Oh, that is not true, Dr. Plunkett.
Yes, it all the time it happens. How can a man get romantic, put his arms around a girl, put his lips close to hers, and say, I love you, Dr. Plunkett?
I love you, Dr. Plunkett.
You do? Oh, no, you don't. You're just saying that. We don't have a thing in common. Well, I bet you don't even know the Pythagorean theorem.
Oh, but my darling, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares on the other two sides.
Oh, that's the nicest thing anybody ever said to me.
Come here. Come closer, Dr. Plunkett.
Oh, Mike. Do it again.
Well.
Yes?
Well, this is a fine welcome, I must say.
Oh, hello, Harry. Go away now. We're busy. Do it again, Mike. Square the hypotenuse.
One moment, please. It cost me $309.87 to fly to Monte Carlo by air coach, only to find you in a dubious state of sobriety and in the arms of another man. What am I to think?
Dr. Plunkett, who is this fellow?
Harry? Oh, he's nobody. He's a pet. He's just the guy I'm going to marry.
Thank you, dear. But the least you could do is introduce me to this man and offer some sort of explanation.
All right. Harry, this is Mike. Mike, this is Harry. Now, will you go away and leave me alone, please?
That is the one thing which I have no intention of doing.
One moment, Monsieur...
Nagel. Professor Harry Z. Nagel, head of the Department of Ethical Philosophy at Norwood College.
Ethical philosophy. Yes. Well, frankly, Professor Nagel, I do not believe that you're going to marry this girl.
Well, I'm in love with her.
If you were in love with her, you'd be more happy to see her. Why, you haven't even kissed the lady.
Yes. You haven't even kissed the lady.
Oh. Well, I'm glad to see you again, dear.
That was a kiss?
Oh, Harry, it was sweet of you to come flying all the way across the Atlantic just to see me.
It was awfully rough. And you know my stomach isn't very good anyway.
Oh, poor Harry.
Well, I'm glad you've seen the error of your ways, Claudine. Now, we'll get a plane out of here first thing in the morning.
What do you mean, the error of my ways?
Why, running off and gambling.
Don't you
Professor
give me
Nagel.
any
I
of your
certainly could
illegal
never
options.
condone behavior such as
You've got your nerve trying to preach to me.
Quiet. Well, maybe you are in love. You fight as if you are.
All right, Claudine. Stay here. Gamble. All I want to know is what's going to happen with the earthworms.
The earthworms?
The earthworms?
Yes.
Oh, I'd forgotten all about the earthworms.
Forgive me, perhaps I'm not very bright, but what do earthworms have to do with this?
I can see you aren't a very regular reader of the bi-monthly report of the Academy of Physical Sciences.
But I confess I only glanced at the headlines.
My fiancée is making scientific history with her mathematical method of predicting the sex of unborn earthworms.
Oh, it's not so much.
Not so much. Why, it's the most revolutionary research in the whole field of probabilities.
I do it with the slide rule.
She does it with a slide rule. Dr. Plunkett has been able to predict the sex of unborn earthworms with an accuracy of 97.453%.
Really?
454.
Well,
forgive me, dear. Next, she will apply the Plunkett theory to predicting the sex of unborn guinea pigs. And I ask you, sir, how far is it from a guinea pig to a human being?
Well, I have never measured the exact distance.
Oh, darling, I cannot believe that you would give up your earthworms for this.
I beg your pardon.
Harry Nagel, can't you understand there's no money in earthworms?
Unless you want to go fishing with them.
Can I help it if the same formula I invented for the earthworms also works on a roulette wheel? All I want to do is make $100,000 and quit. That's all. Then I'll devote the rest of my life to pure science. But earthworms aren't enough. I want to have a mink coat.
Good for you.
Who ever heard of a mathematician with a mink coat?
Oh, Harry Z. Nagel, you make me so mad. I could... Oh, now look what you've done. I've got mascara all over my face. Now I have to go to the powder room. Oh, you make me so mad.
Wonderful girl.
Marvelous.
Are you interested in her?
I'm a Frenchman. How can I look at her without being interested?
I mean, you're not interested in marrying her.
What a typical American idea.
Thank heaven. I've been in love with her for 7.5 years. Why, do you realize we did our master's thesis together?
Really?
I've asked her to marry me at least 50 times, but I can't get her to take the plunge.
Well, Professor Nagel, perhaps if you were to inject a more Gallic flavor into your lovemaking...
Gallic?
Well, borrow some of the romanticism of the French. Make love to your lady in a leisurely, relaxed, soothing manner.
Oh, but I don't have the patience.
My friend, in affairs of the heart, the only way to be in a hurry is to take your time. Now, first, you choose a romantic location. This balcony is perfect. Starlight, the ocean beneath. You begin merely by holding her hand.
And then I suppose you tell her how much you love her.
Not yet. You say, my darling, what is the enchantment in your eyes? They are as blue as Lake Como. And your hair is like the sunrise along the Pyrenees.
Calls for quite a knowledge of geography, doesn't it?
Quite. Then you say, just to be near you, my love, is to enjoy the fragrance of apple blossom in the spring. The touch of your hand is like the caressing warmth of the breeze in summer.
You feel that women like this sort of talk?
I have good reason to believe they do.
Well, I'm glad to see you boys are getting to know each other.
Oh, Claudine, your friend was just telling me about...
Yes, about the agriculture and geography of my native France.
I'll bet. Well, I just don't know what to do. Harry, why are you looking at me like that?
My darling, your eyes are like sunrise on Lake Michigan.
Why, Harry, what a perfectly darling thing to say.
Well, I trust that both of you will excuse me now.
Oh, must you leave, Mike?
I have a debt to collect from a friend. Well, good luck to both of you.
Goodbye, Mike. Sweetheart, your hair is like corn silk on the 4th of July. And your ankles...
Wolfgang!
Michel, what luck have you had?
Pay me the 50,000 francs. I can assure you that Slide Rule Blonde will not play roulette again.
How did you manage it?
Quite simple. I'm marrying her.
What?
To somebody else.
Mike, guess what? We're going to get married.
Immediately.
Nothing could surprise me less.
You know, I don't know what came over Harry, but he got so romantic all of a sudden.
Really? It's amazing. It works. She's agreed to become Mrs. Professor Harry Z. Nagel.
Well, congratulations to you both. I hope that you and your earthworms will be very happy.
Thank you. We've got one problem, though.
Yes?
Yeah, we don't know what to do with the money.
But the money?
The money I won at roulette, the 2 million francs. That's almost $60,000, you know.
Yes, and what can we do with it?
Well, have you considered spending it?
Oh, never. I couldn't touch a cent of that money. Why, it's tainted.
Tainted?
Well, how could I face my students in ethical philosophy if I, or my wife, had profited by such ill-gotten gains?
Harry's very ethical.
Well, perhaps I can be of service. What if we dispose of the money in the same way you received it?
At roulette?
Impossible. I wouldn't go near those wicked wheels.
Let me do it for you. I will take your 2 million francs and gamble it away for you personally.
Oh, Mike, you're a dreamboat.
For a fee, of course. I normally charge 10,000 francs to lose a fortune.
Ladies and gentlemen, place your bet.
Tell me, croupier, what number has not come up all evening?
0, monsieur. The Count Montague just lost 500,000 on 0.
Oh, very good, then. I shall bet the limit on 0.
What are you up to, Michel?
I'm doing you a favor, Wolfgang. I'm returning your money to you.
Hmm?
The sly little blonde has decided she doesn't want her winnings. So I've agreed to fritter away a fortune for her.
For a fee?
Ah, of course. Of course.
The winning number is 0.
What? Is this the way you do me a favor?
Oh, believe me, I didn't mean to win. Oh, croupier, put my winnings on number 13. That's very unlucky. I'm sure to lose.
For your sake, I hope so.
Winning number is 13. Black and odd.
No. Well, I'll put the limit on 7. That's lucky. Maybe I'll lose.
Winning number is 7. Red and odd.
Oh, this is a catastrophe.
You're playing her system.
But my system is no system. Can I help it if I have a winning streak? 23. The limit on 23. I've never won anything on 23 in all my life.
The winning number is 23. Red and odd.
Oh, I can't believe it.
Cheat, thief! 20 million francs you've taken from me.
How's that?
Why, Mike, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
That's a pretty unethical thing to do. You promised to lose our money, and instead you go out and make our fortune even bigger.
Sorry.
Well, we have a name for this kind of thing back home. The double cross.
I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. Every number I picked was a winner.
What are we going to do now? Harry and I can't get married until we get rid of the money.
I couldn't have it on my conscience.
All right, I'll try again.
No. I beg you, Michel, stay away from my roulette wheels. One more win and you'll break the bank.
How much do we have now?
20 million francs.
In American currency, that's...
$600,000.
I have an idea. Professor Nagel, are you an American citizen?
Why, of course.
Then your troubles are over. All you have to do is take this money...
I refuse.
And now wait. Declare it as income on your tax return. As you know, anybody who makes $600,000 in 1 year in the United States can only keep about 1%.
Oh, how about that? I forgot about the good old income tax. The government will take all but $6,000.
And you had $5,000 to begin with.
Oh, but what'll we do with the 1,000 that's left over?
By a strange coincidence, that is exactly the fee for my services.
Oh, how wonderful. Now we can be married and we don't have any money. Isn't it heaven?
Oh, and we owe it all to you, Michelle. How can we ever repay you?
You have already paid the first installment, and your happiness will pay all the others.
Well, you solved everything for them, Michelle, but what about the management of the casino? After all, they're the ones who paid the $600,000 to the American government.
Oh, don't worry about them, Mr. Conway. They'll get it back.
How?
Ever hear of the Marshall Plan?
Oh, Michelle, you have an answer for everything. Well, here's your $200.
Oh, thank you very much.
Oh, what did you do with your 1,000? Did you lose it?
That I did, as a matter of fact. Although at 4 o'clock in the morning, I was ahead of 1 million francs. When my play was interrupted.
By whom?
Well, by a very strange-looking man. A man I had never seen before. A beautiful girl was with him. A girl I knew only too well.
Go on.
Go on? No, Mr. Conway.
that is another story. And another $200.
Charles Boyer will soon be seen starring in Douglas Sirk's production, The First Legion. In the role of Bart Conway, you heard Hanley Stafford. Also in the cast were Mary Jane Croft, Jack Edwards, Herbert Butterfield, Fritz Feld, Paul Marion, and Viola Vaughn. Our show was directed by Nat Wolfe. Tonight's script was written by Robert E. Lee. Characters of Michelle and Bart Conway were created by Ernest Boja and Clement Scott Gilbert. Listen again next week at this time to Presenting Charles Boyer. I'm Stanley Steven. Stay tuned for Murder in the Negative. It's Big Town on NBC. Presenting Charles Boyer.
Vous qui passez sans revoir.
Hello, my dear. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir, Michel. La da da dee dee.
The National Broadcasting Company takes pleasure in presenting a new series starring Charles Boyer as Michel. As polished a gentleman, as charming a rogue as ever sauntered the boulevards of Paris, he's recognized with a smile by the first men of France and remembered with a sigh by the first ladies of Paris. For Michel makes every woman hope she is the first. Now, at a sidewalk cafe with his author friend Bart Conway.
And now, waiter, Mr. Conway and I will have a bottle of Cordon Rouge, vintage 37.
Oui, monsieur. Champagne. Always champagne. Michel, I do wish you had less expensive taste.
My dear Bart, I can be economical when necessary. But when I'm invited to dine with a prosperous American author, then only the best.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how long I'll be prosperous with such a costly dinner companion.
Now, one moment, Bart. What happened to that little story I told you the first night we met?
Why, I wrote it.
And sold it?
Yes.
And the next story, which I told you?
It's on its way to America.
Then, there is your answer. You shall be prosperous just so long as I continue to supply you with stories which you can write and sell to your American magazine.
All right, Michel, you win.
Good. Excuse me a moment. Colette. Oh, Colette, one bunch of pansies, please.
Yes, sir. Your lady will be flattered by them.
Eh? What lady? Bart, if you please.
Hmm?
Colette is waiting.
For what?
100 francs.
Oh. Oh. Here you are.
Thank you, sir.
Pansies are so lovely. Don't you think, Bart?
At the moment, I'm somewhat prejudiced.
Well, then look at it this way. Your English word pansy comes from our French pensée, meaning thought. So, pansies are thoughts.
Hmm. You look thoughtful enough to be leading up to something. A story, perhaps?
Your wine, monsieur.
Oh, thank you. A story, definitely.
Ah.
Yes, these pansies take me back to an incident which is still, well, quite painful in my memory and also quite dear.
Well, go ahead. I can afford it. I hope. What's the story about?
A thief, a beautiful woman, and my life of crime.
Oh, surely you're joking, Michel. Your life of crime.
Is it so shocking? More than once, my friend, you have accused me of extracting American dollars from your wallet. A confidence man, you say.
Oh, I was only kidding. The $200 I pay you for each story is pretty steep, but you've certainly not let down my confidence.
Well, thank you. Well, now, before I begin, let us sample this delightful champagne.
To your thoughts.
Thanks. You are an American, Bart, so you think of Paris as a city of eternal youth and gaiety and romance. The city which laughs at age and misfortune. Oh, mind you, it is true that we laugh, but sometimes only that we may not weep. You see, even in Paris, it is a sad thing to be penniless. Yes, especially in Paris. Well, 3 months ago, I was very, very sad indeed.
Broke?
Completely. It was evening. I was strolling the streets and alleys of Montmartre
When one is broke, it is better to wander among those who share one's condition. I remember pausing in front of an art shop. In the window, there was a delicious still life, a painting of a roast beef, a goblet of wine, and an enormous cheese. As I pressed my face to the window, someone stumbled past me. In fact, he stumbled right into me. And I felt a hand slip into my pocket. No. Oh, no, you don't, my friend.
Hey, my arm! You're busting it!
Now, one moment. You're an American.
Yeah, sure, but don't call the cops, will you? Look, I didn't mean to... Hey, it's you, Mickey!
Well, my old friend Fingers.
Yeah.
And you try to pick my pockets?
Well, honest, I didn't know it was you. Oh, gee, I don't steal from my pals. Your wallet's safe.
Yes, because it is empty.
Oh, Mitchell, no.
Just find me a chair, and I will sit down and consume this painted roast beef and cheese, canvas, oil, and all.
Oh, how distressing. Why, you have always been able to crash the fanciest feed.
Yes, and slept in the best hotels. Until the management saw fit to change the lock on my door.
Oh, really? That busted, huh? Hey, look, you can bunk with me. You know, I got my own suite now.
You?
Yeah, sure. A hammock on a rooftop. Well, if you don't kick about the smoke from the chimneys.
Oh, I won't, so long as it doesn't come from a kitchen.
Yeah, and eats, too. I got a system, you know.
I'm sure you have. But on which side of the law?
Hey, listen, kid, I've been wanting to hook up with a partner for a long time. Now, I can teach you the business, and with you and me together...
Now, Fingers... I am not a thief.
Please, Mickey, please. We don't use that word. We are what you might call gentlemen of opportunity.
But, my friend, do you think I could deprive some poor man of his pay? Or steal from some needy shop girl?
Well, a guy's got to live, ain't he? You want to starve? Want to sleep behind some ash can?
Well, frankly, no.
Oh, well, then get smart, kid. Hey, look, I need a guy that can put on an elegant front for me. You know, a gent with class.
Yes, what I wonder.
I will learn you my technique, and then you and me will show the local talent the real big-time operation.
And you say in return I eat regularly?
3 squares a day, and you bunk with me.
Of course, it might be different, I suppose, if the victims are wealthy enough for our attentions. Only the rich.
Well, let's not get too impractical.
Well, you know, bankers who attend the opera, the lesser nobility at the ballet, rich gamblers at the races.
Hey, yeah, I think you're cooking. Yeah, we could hoist a lot of ice.
Ice?
Well, that's just a trade time, you know. I picked it up at the movies.
Oh.
You know, diamonds, emeralds, rubies.
Yeah, it is tempting, yes, but...
Mickey, our public is crying for us.
Fingers, you know the Rue de la Paix?
Yeah, sure.
Tomorrow noon, one of the great dress houses on the Rue de la Paix is showing its latest fashions. All of society will be there.
Well, that's it. Yeah, we wait till the crowd comes out afterwards, then we pass through them fast, you know, with the finesse.
But first, tonight I eat.
Now, partner, what do you take me for? I am a man of honor.
You see, Fingers, what did I tell you? The elite of Paris.
Yeah.
Limousines, spurs, jewels, and fat billfold.
Yeah, okay. Now, remember, if somebody squawks, we beat it.
All right, and a rendezvous across the street.
And yeah, that's right. Yeah. Good luck, pal.
Oh, I beg your pardon, monsieur. Could you give me the time?
Yes, just a moment. It's 5 minutes past 2.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.
Oh, madam, may I assist you down the steps?
Oh, you're very kind.
Not at all. The showing of evening gowns was magnificent, was it not?
Oh, simply beautiful. And didn't
My
you
watch!
think those...
My platinum watch! I've been robbed! Police! Police! My watch! 20,000 francs for the return of my watch!
Oh, madam, will you excuse me? I see a friend.
What? But you offered to show...
20,000 francs for the one who finds my watch!
Oh, pardon me, monsieur. Monsieur, I found this on the sidewalk.
That's it. It's mine.
Oh, and you promised a reward. 20,000 francs.
Well, I would have found it myself.
With perhaps all the diamonds removed from it. Now you promised before many witnesses.
Very well. Let me count it out. It must have been a pickpocket.
Oh.
He asked me for the time.
18.
It was about your size.
19, 20,000. Thank you very much.
Why, good Lord. It was him. I paid the thief 20,000 francs. Police!
Pardon.
Police!
Excuse me, madam. Pardon. Excuse me.
There he goes! Stop him, police! Stop him! There he goes!
Gee, Mitchell, I almost had a dame's purse, and then I see you handing that guy back his watch, and I tell you, this unnerved me so that I couldn't snatch nothing.
I'm sorry, Fingers, but what could we have done with a platinum watch set with diamonds?
What could we have done? Hey, you must be sick or something.
A watch that valuable is too hard to dispose of. Anyway, I could not resist the gentleman's reward of 20,000 francs.
He paid you 20,000?
Of which this is your half.
Oh, you are sensational. Why, I ain't seen so much moolah since...
Moolah?
Well, yeah, you know, spondolics, the long green, frog skins, you know. That's what Henry G. Robinson called it in the movie that I
Hey,
seen.
Fingers.
Yeah?
That girl.
Where?
Crossing the street. She just came out of the fashion house.
Yeah, hey, that dress, that cost plenty of dough.
Yes, beautifully tailored for a beautiful woman.
Well, let's skip a look. She's loaded with a fancy handbag.
No, impossible to steal. It's only safe in a crowd.
Yeah, but we could follow her. Maybe she'd take a bus.
Oh, ridiculous. Such a lady must have her own car. Unless she lives nearby. Or perhaps she's looking...
Taxi! Taxi!
Hey, Mickey, where you going?
See you later.
Hey, Mickey, my pal!
I shouldn't accept this ride, monsieur.
And I should be crushed if you had not, mademoiselle. Permit me to introduce myself. Baron Michel de Frontenac.
My name is Sidonie.
Sidonie. How charming. But surely there is more.
Does it matter?
Well, only that I may know how to find you again.
Oh, I see.
Well, anyway, now tell me how to direct the driver to your home.
I'm not going home.
Oh, good. Then perhaps you will do me the pleasure of luncheon.
I haven't time, but thank you.
Oh, an appointment?
Yes.
With a girlfriend, I hope?
No.
Of course. Why should I expect such beauty as yours to go unappreciated and unattended? Well, where do you meet him?
I'm not meeting anyone.
So, you have an appointment, but no one to meet. Well, mademoiselle, the mystery intrigues me. I insist that I go with you.
Then order the driver to go to the zoo.
A driver, to the zoo.
The zoo?
Sidonie, you're not listening to me. Sidonie.
Hmm? What?
Now, you see, I praise the magic of your eyes, the delicacy of your lips, the sunlight of your hair, and what reply do you make? Only, What? You have eyes only for that ridiculous camel.
I'm sorry, Michelle. I had to see the camel.
Well, now you've seen him.
You're right. We can go. I want to ride on the carousel.
First the zebras, then the lions, then the camels, now the carousel. Please, my dear, I'm a curious man.
And very gallant.
Well, at last, I have made some slight impression.
You shouldn't bother with me, Michelle. It's a beautiful afternoon. There must be other girls.
Mm-hmm. There is none when I'm with you.
You don't understand.
Well, I'm trying to.
Please, let's not talk.
Sidonie.
No.
No, now look at me.
No.
But you're crying.
Take me to the carousel. Please.
Oh, if you would only tell me what...
Tickets for the carousel.
Very well. Two, please.
Yes, sir. Get right aboard. The ride begins.
Michelle, if you'll hold my handbag for me.
Are you sure you want me to?
Of course. I need both hands to get onto the horse.
Very well. If I must, I'll hold your bag.
Police! Police! There he is! Catch him!
Oh,
Police!
1,000 devils. Oh, forgive me. Au revoir, my dear.
Michelle! Michelle!
Hey, partner, hey, wait for me.
Fingers, you.
Yeah, sure. I yelled police because it was the perfect moment for you to make with her purse.
Oh, but I did not intend to steal.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. The
Oh.
first good-looking dame that you see and what happens to our careers. That's why I followed you in another taxi.
You made me run with her purse. Now she knows and I cannot go back.
Well, is that bad? Come on, let's see the purse.
Oh, she was an exquisite creature. Oh, well.
Well, I'll be... Look, a pawn ticket.
What? Impossible.
Well, how do you like that? There's nothing else but a comb, lipstick, a key, and one letter.
Letter? Let me see.
Beautiful dame? Yeah. Fancy clothes? Yeah. But money? No.
Maybe this will wise you up, pal. The best geese for plucking ain't always wearing peacock feathers.
Fingers, please. I'm trying to read.
Well, go ahead. I ain't stopping you. One lousy pawn ticket. But whatever it was that she pawned ain't worth enough to buy.
Fingers.
What?
I must see that girl again.
Are you crazy?
No, quite sane, my friend. But what is in this letter? Yes, I must find her again.
Hey, Mickey, you'll be pinched. She'll call the cops.
Very well, even if it means jail, I must go to her.
Good heavens, Michel. Don't stop right in the middle of the story.
Oh, forgive me, Bart, but at the moment, my appetite is stronger than my memory. Waiter.
You wish to order, monsieur?
Yes, the menu, please.
Oui, monsieur.
And while we're waiting, another champagne.
Oui, monsieur.
You don't mind, Bart?
Not if you'll get on with the story. You say you followed this girl, Sidney. You took her purse, you read the letter inside, then what?
Nana, please, I must tell the story in my own way.
Oh.
At first, I had been completely mystified that such a beauty should spend her Sunday afternoon staring at the animals in the zoo and riding the carousel.
I have it. You said she cried for a moment. She was reliving some romantic experience.
Well, that was also my guess, but a wrong one.
What was it then?
The motive was explained by the letter in her purse.
Oh.
I returned to the carousel, but Sidney had gone. So my pickpocket friend and I went back to Montmartre. With part of our 20,000 francs, we enjoyed a superb dinner. And the next day, I sent Fingers on several errands. He rejoined me on the roof in the late afternoon.
Hey, you know, I used to figure that climbing those 7 flights of stairs was good for me, but, keep me in training to outrun the cops. But I don't know.
You're late, my friend.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe I'd be smart to pay the cops some protection and save my legs. Hey, I got a flop.
Oh, be careful of the packages on the hammock.
Yeah, what is all that stuff? The boxes and bundles.
Well, I had a few things to buy.
You bought? Oh, no, Mitchell. It is against the rules. We swipe, we borrow, but buy, never.
That large bundle. Open it, please.
Oh, this one?
Yes. Oh, did you go to the pawn shop?
Yeah, sure. I took the pawn ticket from the dame's place and Hey, you ain't gone and bought yourself a uniform.
Quite handsome, don't you think? Well, if you'll hand me the trousers...
Well, you ain't going to put it on.
Of course I am.
But why?
Please, I asked you about the pawn shop.
Yeah, all right, okay. I got her stuff out of hock, but it cost you 3,000 francs, plus interest.
And, what had she pledged?
Well, it, ain't going to make you happy. Here.
No, a wedding ring.
Yeah. So your girl is married, huh?
Yes,
That's
I
too
know.
bad.
I know. Her name is Madame Claudel. She lives in the Rue Lafitte.
Where'd you get that?
From the letter in her purse. Now, if you will, my tunic.
Yeah, all right. Hey, that's not bad. Look at the gold stuff on the shoulders, the medals and the ribbons. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that beats the monkey suit that the doorman wears at El Morocco.
Ah, please. You insult the dignity of the Army of France.
Oh, no kidding. It's a soldier's uniform, huh?
The general's.
You can buy this?
No, rent it. Last season, I wore this uniform at the Beaux-Arts ball.
Hey, I'm beginning to get this. Why, sure. Yeah, we are going to go to some military shindig, and while the brass hats are saluting you, I clean their pockets, huh?
Now, my belt, please.
Hey, you bet, General.
Oh, and a watch. The best we have.
Well, how about this one? I just lifted it off a fat guy in a park.
Ooh, white gold. Very nice.
Nothing but the best merchandise, pal.
Well, let me see. It's 5 o'clock. She will be leaving the shop.
She?
Sidney, Madame Claudel. She's a dressed mannequin in the fashion house which we visited yesterday.
You know a heck of a lot about her.
Well, it was in the letter. That's why she is able to wear expensive clothing. The management gives it to her.
Yeah, well, if she works, why'd she have to hawk a wedding ring?
Well, one must pay one's doctor bills.
The healthiest looking sick dame I ever saw.
The letter explains.
Yeah, the letter. I'm beginning to wish that I could read French.
It's not necessary. This is what she writes.
Got it right with you, huh?
She was going to mail this to her husband, who is in a government prison.
Oh, he's in stir? No kidding.
My dearest Francois, it is very hard for me to tell you this news. The doctors have at last given up hope for our son. Jean will live perhaps another month.
Oh, no.
I try to make Jean happy so he will not ask questions. This afternoon I will go to the zoo and look at all the animals which he loved to see when he could walk. He begs me to ride the carousel for him.
Oh, so that's what it was about, huh?
Tomorrow, Jean will be 8 years old.
He asks for only one birthday present, to see his father. I can only repeat what he has heard since he was a baby. You cannot get leave from your troops. The Foreign Legion is far away, but your thoughts will be with him tomorrow and always.
Oh, Mitchell, that boy ain't never seen his father.
No.
Well, gee,
Hey, look, you don't have to read any more.
Good. Then we go.
Yeah. Where is this military blowout?
There is no, as you say, blowout. We are going to call on Madame Claudel.
But we swiped her purse.
And we are returning it with a ring.
But maybe she'll still be mad, if she calls the cops.
No, I didn't think my partner was a coward.
Well, I ain't a complete chump, Mickey.
Well, then do as I say, and you will carry these packages.
Who, me?
Now, look, a General of France cannot be a porter.
Well, yeah, okay, but I don't like this.
Oh, one thing more. Lend me 100 francs.
Hey, you ain't spent your whole 10,000.
I have. 100 francs, please.
Well, gee, Mickey, for what?
For one bouquet of pansies.
I tell you, that cop gave us the eye. He watched us turn the last corner.
Never mind the cop. This is it. 921 Rue Lafitte.
Hey, Mickey, for the last
Give
time...
me the packages.
Well, yeah, but...
Now, you'll wait outside. And if you see danger, you will whistle.
Whistle like this?
Could you make it louder?
Well, I can't. When I spotted that cop, my lips lost their pucker. Hey, Mickey, listen, before you ring that doorbell...
I'm not ringing. I have the door key from Madame Claudel's purse. Ah, be brave, my friend.
And you make it fast.
Sidonie. 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 She's not home yet.
Mama? Is that you, Mama? Mama, why don't you let... Monsieur?
Well, happy birthday, Jean.
You are a soldier. You're from the Foreign Legion.
Jean, you made a birthday wish. What was it you wanted most?
Papa. Oh, Papa, you've come home. You've come home.
Yes, Jean. Yes, my son.
Oh, I knew you would come. I knew. Every night I asked for you in my prayer.
Come, Jean. No more tears. We're happy, aren't we?
Oh, yes. Oh, Mama. See, he's here.
Yes, I see. Would you mind...
Sidonie, my darling. My wife.
What? I told you, Mama. Papa wouldn't forget my birthday.
Of course not, Jean. Not if I had to swim and walk all the way from Algeria. And as it was, I had to demand special leave from my post.
Mama, you didn't tell me Papa was such a great soldier. Look, the medals and the ribbons. He must be more than a captain.
Well, yes, I was promoted. Now I am a general.
Mama, you hear a general?
Oh, yes, Jean, I hear.
Well, son, why don't you open your presents?
Oh, may I? Right now?
Of course.
Oh, I know what this one is. The box says it's from the bakery. A birthday cake.
Sure, you mean this for kindness. But you're breaking my heart.
No, my dear. I'm mending it. You will see.
Papa, a toy bugle. Listen.
Well, bravo, Jean. You are better than my own regimental bugler.
Oh, Papa, tell me all about your army. I want to know all about the soldiers and Africa and
Everything, I promise. Now, Sidonie, my darling, we shall have a fine dinner.
Oh, a wonderful dinner.
Aren't you going to kiss him, Mama?
Yes, of course.
My dear.
Welcome home, Francois.
And you ride the battle on a big white camel?
An enormous white camel with trappings of gold.
A camel even bigger than the one Mama and I saw at the zoo?
Oh, twice as big.
Jean.
Yes, Mama?
You mustn't go to sleep on your father's lap.
Now, I think it's time for my little soldier to be off to bed. Hang on to my neck, Jean.
Mama, you were coming with us?
Yes, Jean.
Oh, such a wonderful birthday, Papa.
For both of us.
And you will come to visit me on my next birthday.
Yes, Jean.
And next year, I'll be all well again, won't I?
Yes, Jean.
You know, Mama, when I grow up, I'll be a soldier, too. I'll ride on a big white camel, just like Papa.
Yes, you will. You will, Jean. Now, down under the covers.
Oh, my bugle.
I have it here, Jean.
I'll keep it under my pillow.
Good night, my boy. Dream of your papa.
I will, Papa. I will.
Good night, Jean.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Papa.
Good night, Jean.
Listen.
Yes.
Monsieur.
Oh, please, Michel.
Michel, you know my gratitude for all you've done. The presents, my wedding ring, the flowers. The good Lord must have a special place in his heart for thieves, such as you.
I have had my reward, my dear. You see, in my life have been many things, but tonight, talking to your little boy, have been the only thing I really missed. A father.
Michel, wait.
You are very sweet, my dear. Thank you.
Bonsoir, Michel.
Bonsoir.
Remarkable story, Michelle, and a sad one. But there's just one thing. I can't believe you could ever be a professional pickpocket. How could fingers teach you the knack of it so quickly?
In other words, you think I'm embroidering on a good story.
Well, I admit it's a wonderful touch.
Now, please. My dear friend, I told you before, touch is a word to which I'm very sensitive. Waiter, the bill, please.
Voilà, monsieur.
Let me see. 1,200 francs plus tip. Here you are.
Merci, monsieur.
Good heavens. I'd never expected to see this. Michel dipping into his own pocketbook.
Well, the world is full of surprises, isn't it? Well, now, as soon as I remove the $200 you owe me for tonight's story...
What?
I return your wallet with thanks.
Oh, I might have known.
Now I must be off.
Wait. You didn't tell me what happened to Fingers.
Naturally, I refused to continue in his profession. And a few days later, Fingers failed to remove his hand quickly enough from his certain pocket.
He went to jail.
He went to jail. But only for a few days. It seems he was pardoned by the strange intervention of a very beautiful lady.
Oh?
Yes, as a matter of fact, one of the great actresses of the Paris stage. Too bad I had to come between them.
Well, go on.
Go on? My dear Mr. Conway, that is another story. And another $200.
Charles Boyer will soon be seen starring in Douglas Sirk's production, The First Legion. In the role of Bart Conway, you heard Hanley Stafford. Also in the cast were Sheldon Leonard, Betty Moran, Herb Butterfield, Jane Morgan, Jeffrey Silver, Viola Vaughn, and Rolf Sedan. Our show was directed by Nat Wolfe. Tonight's script was written by Leonard St. Clair. The characters of Michel and Bart Conway were created by Ernest Voja and Clement Scott Gilbert. Listen again next week at this same time to Presenting Charles Boyer. Now, this is Don Stanley speaking and sending congratulations from all of us on presenting Charles Boyer to station WCSH in Portland, Maine, which tomorrow celebrates its 25th anniversary of radio broadcasting. Big Town's editor Steve Wilson fights crime next on NBC. Presenting Charles Boyer.
passer sans me voir.
Hello, my dear. Bonsoir.
Bonsoir, Michel. La da da dee 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 dee
The National Broadcasting Company takes pleasure in presenting a new series starring Charles Boyer as Michel. And who is Michel? The Baron de Montrichard de Frontenac? Paul de l'Espinasse? Francois Cloisonnet? Well, he could be any of these, and has been all. For he belongs to that royal line of adventurers whose titles are stitched on the fabric of their own imaginations, but who'd willingly give up any title for a moment of romance or a spot of cash. Look at him now, walking into Émile's bistro. He has important things on his mind, namely Bart Conway, the gentleman who buys his stories.
Oh, Emile. Emile, come here.
Michel, it's about time you showed up. There's the little matter of 75.
Oh, yes, of course. I've been out of the city, Emile. Emile, this is Mr. Conway, the famous American writer. I've told him about your place. This is the Emile I was telling you about, Mr. Conway.
Emile? Oh, yes, Emile. How do you do, Emile?
Yes, now
A
about...
brandy for my friend and a brandy for me, if you please.
There is the matter of 75...
Michel is my guest, Emile. Here, 2 brandies.
Thank you, at once.
Ah, Mr. Conway, how lucky for you that we've met again. I congratulate you.
Nice of you, Michel. Why?
Because of a mink.
A what?
A mink is a mammal, and so is a lady.
And I suppose that whenever the twain shall meet, there's a story.
Exactly. That is, when something else has been added.
$200, for instance.
Oh, you know, when a mink is involved, it should be much higher. However, it started at a theater des Champs-Élysées.
$200.
Through a friend of mine connected with the management, I was given a complimentary ticket to the new Giraudoux play.
Oh?
All I had to do was circulate through the lobby and express my enthusiasm. It was near curtain time. I had stopped by the hat check stand to light up a cigarette when suddenly a lady approached me. Oh, a vision of beauty and delight. For the first time, the evening held a promise.
Please, monsieur, would you check this for me?
Why, mademoiselle, I shall be delighted to do anything for you.
Curtain!
There is time, mademoiselle. I'll be just a moment.
I'll see you after the show. Now, don't forget that.
Here is your stub, mademoiselle. Well, where is she? There you have it, Mr. Conway. That is, I had it. A stab for a magnificent mink coat and an eye out for the beautiful lady that came with it. Well, during each intermission, I tried to find her in the crowd, but to no avail. When the final curtain fell, I retrieved the mink with my ticket and stood slightly baffled and quite solitary in the lobby when another stranger approached me.
Wasting your time, mister.
Huh? I beg your pardon?
She ain't coming back.
She isn't.
No, I know how you feel, but I hate being stood up, too.
Well, how do you know she isn't coming back?
Well, I got a hunch about dames, you know. She looked scared.
Oh.
No offense to you, mister, you know, but the way she threw that squirrel at you and run off, well, right away I knew something was wrong. That's why I come back.
Come back? From where?
From where I took her.
Oh, so you know the lady?
Well, no, I just took her in my cab.
Oh, I see.
And don't ask me how I come to be driving a cab in Paris.
I hadn't intended to.
You see, after the war, I wanted to see Paris, so I got me a jalopy, and I am still seeing it. Hey, you have no idea how much there's doing around this town.
Now, look.
Can I take you somewhere?
Now, wait. You started to tell me about the lady.
I did? Tell you what?
Well, you said you took her someplace.
Well, I brought her and I took her. Hey, it's none of my business, but did you have a fight or something?
Well, you know, it's rather hard to fight with somebody you don't know.
You don't know Anita?
Never saw her before. Or since.
Well, now, how do you like that? Say, my name is Joe Mudd, and no joke.
I am Michel.
Well, I'm glad to meet you, Mitchell. And what are you going to do with that squirrel?
This squirrel is mink.
Oh, well, that costs dough, don't it?
Mink does not grow on squirrels.
Well, I wouldn't know. You see, I don't know any minks. And you don't know the dame.
No, but I have a coat.
Yeah, that's right. Say, Let me drive you home in my hack, eh? And then we can drop off someplace for a nightcap, kind of talk this thing over.
Talk what over?
Well, about this mink. Now, personally, I like raccoon. What's with mink that makes it so classy? So like I told you, Mitch, I picked her up on the Rue Royale, see, and I dumped her off on the Rue de la Paix. And she didn't say nothing to me, and I didn't say nothing to her, so that's just what I know. Nothing. That's why I went back to the theater, to find out something.
Well, then I'd have to search all Paris to find her.
Well, what do you want to find her for? You got the coat, or maybe it's us that got it, huh?
I have a fatal weakness, Joseph.
Yeah?
Yeah. I prefer a live lady to a dead mink.
Did you ever hear the one about a bird in the hand?
Since when is a mink a bird, Joe? A mink is a mammal.
And so is a lady.
And so is a lady. You are absolutely right.
Only she is live, eh? Well, I don't need the Eiffel Tower to fall on me, kid. Say, I'll have another beer if you don't mind.
Not at all. I'll have another Calvados.
Yeah, okay. Hey, waiter. Will you draw 1 Bubbles and 1 Applejack?
Right.
Now, where was we on this deal, Mickey?
Let's see. I have a mink coat. Mine is a lady. Now, I've known ladies to go to great lengths to get a mink coat, but I've never, in all my extensive experience, known one to throw a mink away.
Mm-hmm.
Especially such a splendid specimen as this one.
Well, all right. Why did she?
That is the proper question, Joe. But I would put it this way. Why didn't she come back?
Well, I'll tell you, she was scared. You see, I saw her face, and she scooted away as fast as she could when I left her off at the corner.
Your drinks, gentlemen. 25 francs, please. I said that would be 25 francs. Excuse me, the bill is 25 francs.
Joe.
Yeah?
My apologies.
For what?
Gentlemen, which one of you is paying for the drink?
No, sir, please. My friend here is my guest. But, Joseph, I find that I have misplaced my wallet.
Yeah, you just found that out, huh? Okay. Here you are, waiter.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Hey, you know something, Mitch? You don't look to me like the kind of a guy who forgets his wallet. You broke?
Well, at the moment, a little bent, my good Joseph. But I don't know why. I feel prosperity bristling in this fur. Wherever there is mink, there is money. Besides, she was beautiful. I must find this girl. Tell me, have you 100 francs to spare?
Well, hey, I almost lost that much in fares just sitting here. Not that I don't like the company, mind you.
Oh, well, thank you, Joseph.
Don't mention it.
If you don't mind, I would like to mention the matter of the 100 francs.
Yeah, you want me to loan you some dough, huh?
No, let's call it an investment.
In what, for instance?
You know, a discreet advertisement placed in tomorrow morning's papers might bring some surprising results.
Oh, yeah. You mean you're going to sell the coat?
The decision will rest with a response to my advertisement. If the owner applies and gratefully provides a reward, well, that is one possibility. I have thus discharged my duty as a citizen. However, having done so, should a prospective purchaser be interested, that, my dear Joseph, would be even more profitable.
Well, I'll go for that second one. What are you going to put in the ad?
Now, let's see. The label in the coat says, styled by Jean-Paul. So we shall say, beautiful mink coat. Styled by Jean-Paul. Available. Excellent condition. Must dispose at once. Address 239 Rue de l'Odéon. Apartment 6. That, I think, should bring quick results.
Captain.
Yes, Victor?
We answered the advertisement as you directed and found the fur coat. Here it is.
Good. Very good, Victor.
And we have caught an even bigger prize. I believe we have the ringleader of the organization himself.
Excellent. You shall have a promotion. Send him in.
Henry, send him in.
Oh, good morning, Captain.
Michel. Well. You may go, Victor.
Yes, Captain.
Sit down, Michel.
Oh, thank you, sir.
This is too good to be true.
No, I hate to disappoint you, Captain. But whatever you are thinking, it is false.
You have always been, shall we say, so discreet, Michel.
Very kind of you.
I hope I always shall be.
But even the best of us can miscalculate, isn't that right?
Are you speaking about yourself, Captain?
I can understand why you would be engaged in such a profitable operation as selling stolen furs.
Oh.
But advertising it in the papers, Michel, that is not like you.
In that case, you will believe me when I tell you what happened.
I shall tell you. 18 months ago, an entire warehouse full of valuable furs was ransacked. Since then, these skins have been turning up in many places, made up into expensive coats and bearing half a dozen different labels. One of them is Style by Jean Paul.
Fine. That explains everything to me. Thank you very much. Goodbye, Captain.
Where are you going?
Well, to find a lady, of course.
What lady?
The lady who gave me the coat.
With you, Michel, there is always a woman.
Well, she left me holding it in the lobby of a theater and vanished.
Someone you knew well?
No, on the contrary. I didn't know her at all.
Yet she gave you this valuable coat and then disappeared?
That's right. Now, do you wonder why I'm so interested in her?
You're not half as interested in her as we are. Michel, do you realize how deeply you're involved in this affair?
I'm not involved at all. You've got the coat.
And I also have got you. But I want this lady even more. I might even be willing to pay...
Reward? How much?
That depends on how useful she is to us. You bring me this lady of yours within 48 hours.
48 hours, Captain.
If you produce her, then we can discuss the matter of reward. If not, there are 48 months for you, Michel.
48 months? 4 years of my life in the hands of a beautiful lady that I have never met. So you see, Mr. Conway, I was a victim of my innocence. I had to find a girl. I had to start from nowhere to find someone who could be anywhere. Well, on my way back to my apartment, I could not make up my mind which loss I regretted the most, the mink or the lady. As I opened my door, I was intercepted by a strange man in my apartment.
Yes? What do you want?
What do I want? Well, this is my... Well, this is apartment 6, isn't it?
Yes. What do you want?
Oh, well, I noticed an advertisement in the paper this morning, and, well, I understand you have a fur coat for sale.
What do you want with a fur coat?
Well, I thought I might buy it. May I see it?
Sorry, it's sold.
Imagine that, Mr. Conway. Insult added to injury. My own door slammed in my face. Well, I returned to the street in order to prepare my strategy. I noticed Joe's taxi standing by the curb. Joe was not inside, but luckily, he had left his cap on the front seat. I quickly pulled it down as low as I could, just as the strange man I had left in my apartment came out with a friend.
Driver, you free?
Yes?
Good. Come on, Thomas. Get in.
Where to, gentlemen?
Place Pigalle, driver.
No. Go to Boulevard Saint-Germain, 1672.
Oh, so that's it, Carl. You want to see Dolores.
Dolores. Well, at last, a clue to the missing lady, Mr. Conway. So as soon as they got out, I parked across the street and waited and waited. It was dark when Thomas came out with her. The first thing I noticed was that she was wearing another magnificent mink coat. Before I had a chance to swing my cab around, she stepped into a taxi waiting in front of her door, so all I could do was follow her to her destination. Then I drove swiftly back to my own apartment. Oh, Joseph. Oh, I was afraid of something like this. Here, no, let me get that gag out of your mouth. And don't bite me.
Before I knew it. See, I come up to see you, and you ain't here, so I'm sticking around. See, and then these guys, they come busting in, they get sore at me because they think that I'm
Please,
you.
hold still while I untie you.
When I can't produce the coat, they give me the business. But I didn't talk, see? I played dumb, see?
I played close to the vest. I lost the pot.
You lost what?
Then I get worried. I say to myself, Joe, what do you know about this character, this Mitchell? You meet him and a mink, both at the same time, and you invest 100 francs. Now, where are they? Fit. Well, gone. Yeah, I'm glad you came back, Mitch.
Joe, I think our worries are over. I found the girl.
Well, happy day. Why don't you tell me at the first place?
You didn't give me a chance. Now, I've got to go out again right away. As soon as I dress. First, my evening clothes.
Well, tell me, what happened? Where's the mink?
Then my cufflinks. Oh, here they are. What did you say, Joe?
The mink. Did you give it back to her?
No, I gave it to the police.
No, holy smoke, the cops? Well, then no wonder you're in a hurry. But what are you dressing up for?
I'll tell you everything on the way to the Café Poulenc. Let's hope she hasn't gone before we get there. Will you drive me, Joe?
Well, sure. I got an investment to protect. Hey, you know, Mitchell, there's just one thing that I got more respect for than gold, and that's brass. And, brother, you got plenty of that. Hey, Mitchell, Café Poulenc. How'd you like the ride?
I'll let you know when I get my breath back.
Say, now that you found this girl, you're going to turn her over to the police right away?
It is the only way I can keep out of jail myself. Besides, there is the little matter of a reward.
Aha, yeah, that's for me. Want me to stick around with the kid?
First, let's see if she's still here. Come on.
Hey, this is a pretty classy joint, Mitch. This dame must be playing for high stakes.
Well, of course. Why do you think the police want her so badly? She may be one of the most important links in... There she is, Joe.
Where?
Over at that table in the corner, with her back to us. See? Where the coat is draped over the chair.
Yeah, hey, she looks good from the back.
Yes, and that's the mink I saw coming out of the apartment.
With her inside of it, I hope. Well, good luck, kid. I'll be seeing you.
All right. Hey, wait. Joe.
What?
Come back here.
All right.
Look at her.
Why, what's the matter with her?
Oh, nothing's the matter with her. Except she's not the lady I'm looking for.
She should never have turned around.
The wrong girl.
Oh, brother, yeah. Well, goodbye, 100 francs, and goodbye, Mitchell. And what do you have, a cake with a file in it or a carton of cigarettes?
No. Just a moment, Joseph.
Now, what do we do?
Just a moment. I'm going over to that table. I want to talk to her.
Well, what for? That dame won't do you any good.
One dame is just as good as another when she's mixed up with stolen furs. And believe me, I won't let this one run away.
Oh, I get you, kid. Well, you got to take over from here. Good hunting. Hope you catch another mink.
Here you are. Let me check your coat for you.
I beg your pardon.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You're not the lady I thought you were.
That's quite all right.
Well, I would say it's more than just all right. You are much more beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Are you expecting someone, mademoiselle?
No. Well, that is, my friend had to leave. He'll be back.
Not too soon, I hope.
Why?
Well, one man's absence is another man's opportunity. Do you mind my joining you for a moment?
You have already, haven't you?
Well, in that case, my name is Michel.
I am Dolores.
Well, now that we are properly introduced, good evening, Dolores.
Good evening, Michel.
Are you sure you don't want me to check your coat?
Don't bother. It isn't necessary.
It's a very attractive mink.
Yes, it is, isn't it? Well, after all, it was styled by Jean-Paul.
But of course, a coat is only as beautiful as the woman who wears it.
Oh, any woman looks beautiful in a Jean-Paul coat.
If she can afford it, of course.
Are you thinking of buying a fur coat for someone?
You know, it's strange that you should mention that. I have been thinking about a mink coat. But now, of course, I have something else on my mind.
Oh?
Tell me, are you especially fond of the Café Poulenc?
Well, it's rather nice. Why do you ask?
Well, it's not much of an orchestra for dancing. Now, I know a little place called the Figaro in the Montmartre district. Something quite different. Shall we go? So glad you came to the Figaro with me, Dolores.
I'm very glad, too.
Dancing solves a great many problems, doesn't it?
Well, it does bring people together.
Yes. It makes friends out of strangers so quickly.
Let's sit down for a minute. No, now I understand your enthusiasm for this place, Michel. It is much gayer here.
Oh, I'm glad you like it. Oh, I'm sorry. We forgot to check your coat again.
It's just as well. It's rather chilly.
Oh? Oh, I hadn't noticed it.
Were you really looking for someone else at the Café Poulenc?
At first, yes. But once I saw you, I changed my plans completely.
Michel, well, you've been very nice to me, and I've had a wonderful, wonderful evening. I want to be completely honest with you now. I'm not what you think I am.
Oh? And what do you think I thought you were?
Well, a girl with a mink coat in an expensive cafe.
Something the matter with that?
I don't want to pretend any longer. This coat isn't mine.
Oh, you mean you borrowed it?
No, it isn't that. You see, well, it's my job.
Then you were not pretending.
I mean, I'm kind of a model. I'm employed to wear coats like this to places like the Café Poulenc.
Oh, so that's why you haven't checked it.
That's right. I have to keep it with me so people can see it. Then, if they admire the coat...
As I did.
And ask for information...
As I did.
Yes. Then I tell them about Jean-Paul.
Well, what about Jean-Paul?
Oh, Jean-Paul isn't any ordinary furrier. It's a personalized service, and they make the coats up only on special order. Oh, but you're not really interested in that. I only told you so you wouldn't misunderstand.
Well, I'm not so sure I understand now.
Well, what do you mean?
Well, this Jean-Paul...
Oh, that's only a trade name. It's really Carl and Thomas.
Yes, but how long have you been working for them?
About 6 months. They've been very nice to me, and I'm grateful to them. You'll never know how much I needed this job.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Dolores.
Why?
You're grateful for helping to sell stolen furs.
Stolen furs?
Surely you must have known that's what they are.
Are you the police?
Fortunately for you, no. But the police are looking for those employers of yours. And for you. Oh, my dear. I'm sorry.
Oh, but
please.
I didn't know. Oh, it's all right.
No, it's not all right now. It's not all right at all. It's much worse. You wouldn't have told me all this if you knew what you were doing.
Michel, if what you say is true...
Oh, it's true. You'll find out only too soon.
Well, then I'll just have to stop.
And run away?
Well, quit.
You can't quit.
Why can't I quit?
Well, I think another girl tried to do that. Only last night, she threw a mink coat at me and ran away. And then this morning, I read a little item in the paper about a young woman found in the river Seine. No. I have no way of knowing that it was the same girl, but it could have been. She, too, worked for this Jean-Paul. She must have known too much. And you, Dolores, know too much, too.
But
you
I
know
told
Jean-Paul really is.
Well, then I'll have to tell the police.
And if they believe you, what then? If the police don't catch up with these Carl and Thomas, you're really in danger for your life. But if you don't tell the police now and try to explain to them later, it will be hard to convince them that you were innocent. And even if you got a small jail sentence, I imagine it would be very difficult for you to get another job.
You mean I can't run away and I can't give myself up? Oh, Michel, there must be something I can do.
Well, perhaps one way. Dolores, would you let me have your fur coat?
Oh, yes, please take it. I don't want it now.
Then you do believe what I've told you. Why?
I started believing you, Michel, when you stopped making love to me.
Now, darling, if you say many more things like that, I shall begin again. Now, before that happens, come with me, quickly.
Where to, Mitchell?
Your apartment, please, Joe.
Oh, hey, look, my joint's a mess. The bed ain't even made.
And Joseph, I'll need an advance of another 100 francs. I want to take out an advertisement.
You want to go to the pokey again?
That's exactly what I don't want to do. Now, Joe, this time, I will have to use your address. Dolores' employers will undoubtedly be visiting her apartment, so she'll go to a hotel for tonight. And you, Joe, can stay at my place.
I can hear the wheels working in your head all the way up here.
No, that's your rear axle, Joseph. Needs oiling. Hello? Oh, yes, Joe? You're at the corner. Good. No, just be patient. When you see them, keep out of sight. Follow them up and stay outside. You'll know when I need you. They're here now. Goodbye. Well, good morning. Oh, the police.
So it's you again, Michel.
But, gentlemen, I did not expect you so early. Would you mind taking a walk around the block and come back in, say, 15 minutes?
Did you expect to get away with the same trick twice?
On the contrary, I wanted you to come, but not now. Please.
The advertisement ringed in pencil was
Yes.
delivered at headquarters.
According to plan. Only your timing is wrong.
You will have to come with us, monsieur.
Look, I'll do anything you want later. But now, step inside, quickly.
Well, what is it?
Oh, now, look, officers. Here's the fur coat. It's yours. Take it with you and go into the other room. Give me just a few minutes, please.
I suggest you teach the prefect such games. We have no time for them now. Come on, peaceably.
There they are. Now, I will prove it to you. Step back and watch. Oh, good morning, gentlemen. I've been expecting you.
It's you, the man we saw yesterday. Thomas, get him.
Right, Carl.
Now, wait, my friends.
Get back, all of you.
The police.
A trap.
You see, officers, that's what I meant. I baited
Get back, you, with the others.
But, officer.
Come on.
Now, look.
Now, march.
Hey, Mitch, what's going on here? You need
Joe,
any help?
Joe, watch out.
Oh, the cops. Goodbye.
Come back here.
Yes, sir.
You're in this, too. Get in line. Now, all of you, march.
So you see, Captain, after I had identified the criminals, I'll say with much expense and effort on my part, I decided to use the same device which brought me to your headquarters in the first place. The advertisement proved to be perfect bait for them and for you. Now, since I've wrapped up this case for you so neatly, I think we can discuss the reward. Well, something the matter, Captain?
There is the matter of the lady, Michel.
The lady? What lady?
We want everybody implicated in this affair. Our bargain was the lady in exchange for your liberty, not to mention the reward.
Well, I'm sorry, Captain. There is no lady.
Hey, but Mitch, what about
There
this
is no lady.
So that's it. Always the lady vanishing.
Ah, you took me too seriously, Captain. I needed a chance to prove my innocence, so I invented a lady.
In that case, Michel, let's say I just invented the reward.
Then we're both taken in.
Were we, Michel? I'll tell you what I'll do. I shall forget our bargain and not ask you about the lady again. That shall be your reward.
Thank you. I promise to keep this reward in a safe place. Now, what about my friend here?
Your friend and yourself are free to go. Come back and see us again sometime soon.
Very kind of you, Captain, but I insist that you be my guest on the next occasion.
It's a good story, Michel, but what about the final chapter? What about Dolores?
Oh, a fine, courageous, honest girl. Fortunately, Joe had a girlfriend who owns a small shop in Montparnasse. Dolores is working there now. She looks lovely in hats.
But what about the first girl?
First girl?
The lady with the mink, the first mink.
Oh, that lady. Well, you may not believe this, Mr. Conway, but do you know that it wasn't more than 5 weeks later, when I was on my way to Quito?
You went to Peru? You've never told me that, Michel.
I haven't, my friend. My experience with the Incas, a treasure beyond all comprehension.
Yes, but Michel, what's that got to do with the young mink?
What's that got to do with... But, Mr. Conway, that's another story, and another $200.
Charles Boyer will soon be seen starring in Douglas Sirk's production, The First Legion. In the role of Bart Conway, you heard Hanley Stafford. Also in the cast were Sheldon Leonard, Ted Von Eltz, Joan Banks, Wilms Herbert, Herb Butterfield, Don Diamond, and Ken Peters. Our show was directed by Nat Wolf. Tonight's script was written by Barbara and Milton Merlin. Characters of Michel and Bart Conway were created by Ernest Voidya and Clement Scott Gilbert. Listen again next week at this same time to Presenting Charles Boyer. This is Don Stanley speaking. Stay tuned for Thrilling Big Town on NBC.